Everyone, today in Warframe, we're making the 2025 tier list. Best, worst Warframes, let me know. And we are going to do it generally based on name, so it gets less confusing. I'll throw in timestamps every like 5 or 10 Warframes, so you can get like a general timestamp of it, but keep in mind, Warframe is an 11-year-old actively developed now game, and that means it has, I think, 57 to 59 Warframes in total. So yeah, we're going to make the tier list with chat. So boop, feel free, everyone, to throw in your regards. The Twitch chat will pop up here. And hey, we'll make the tier list and we'll decide based on what everyone thinks together. It'll be a little chaotic. So let's start off with Ashe Prime. Ashe is a pretty cool Warframe. I want to say a lot of people don't play Ashe as much, but you can still get a ton of kills with your Blade Storm set up, and you can go hide around. So yeah, it could be a lot worse. Fatal Teleport is not my favorites, but it is nice for an energy refund. And then you have Rising Storm, which, I mean, more melee. Ashe is still, I would say, one of the older Warframes. So I don't think he pulls his weight comparative to other people. Just base kit. You can always Dante, or sorry, not Dante. You can always helmet on things to just absolutely shred if you want. Seeking Shuriken's also really nice if you just reduce armor. He's a generally nice Warframe. I do like him, but I just don't play him enough. So I think he is exactly where he belongs as just like a mid-tier frame. Does well for invisibility, so you can stay invisible pretty easily, and you can do some damage, and you can assassinate people. You can make some cool builds with them, but yeah, Ashe is one of those less whelming frames right now, so I would say B to C, something along the lines of that. Next up is Atlas Prime. Atlas is a boring-ass Warframe and should really get a full rework. I just don't think he's good at all for a lot of people. You can do some goofy builds for sure with everything, but I think just by himself and his general kit, it's just not looking great. You have just some rock shenanigans of boxing, petrify, you got your boys you spawn up, the rumblers, and they're the most interesting part, but spawns in Warframe are never the strongest, right? Rip Tectonics. He does have a ton of frickin' augments at this point, and they do help a lot. Like, hey, Overguard, noise. More rumblers, okay. Like, look at all that. Landslide, petrified enemies for more loot, more rumble heap. I don't have everything fully maxed out. Walls. So, as you could tell, my dude has so many augments, and that's just because he's kind of a bad Warframe for a lot of people, right? Like, some people like him, some people hate him, but overall, he's almost never used in the game. I think he totally belongs right along here in C tier, but I know a lot of people might think he's probably D tier. I just think at this point, no one really uses him too much. Sometimes I see him, but not a ton, man. Atlas is a nowadays forgotten dead frame for a lot of people. Fair play. He's cool, but it just doesn't work out as well as maybe the old gameplay of Warframe worked. So now we have your girl Banshee Prime. I think she's overall a pretty strong frame with just how a lot of her abilities work. Like, if you take a look at some of those augments, right? Resonance, weak spot, sonar, silence, stagger, finish, resonating quake, do a little bit more damage. And then sonic fracture, right? Not bad with just, if you want to just armor shred, so not too shabby, but Sonic Boom, it does only hit in front of you, so it's like, I think generally you want to yeet on Resonance for a lot of people. I don't think she's like S tier by any means. She could go anywhere from C to A, depending on how much you like her, how much you've kitted her out, and if you actually feel like using a lot of her kit. But I think I would throw her pretty solidly in B still. I don't think she's like a god, especially compared to a lot of the new gen and reworked Warframes, but I do think she's good, and you could probably pretty solidly throw her on A if you really like her as well. So I do think she is a good frame, okay? And not a frame I use a ton, but a good frame nonetheless. Ooh, now we have Baruch Prime. Okay. The thing about Baruch is he's also one of an oldish frame at this point. I think he was Did he come with Fortuna or slightly after on the Fortuna update? Like half a year or something. And he is like the pacifist monk. He has a cool kit if you want to kind of use an exalted punching boxer. So I do like the overall kit of Baruch. I just don't think he's super popular these days. Reactive Storm is nice. If you just want to punch everyone, you just get more status, right? Elusive Retribution is also really nice. You just do more melee, okay? You elude and you just attack faster. So really, they kind of are forcing you into like, hey, use his punching, okay? Use his punching. Perform a finisher. So he is really nice. I think he can stat stick up Serene Storm at least a little bit, but it does react with strength. So you are actually kind of a status powerhouse if you throw on everything, right? And if you also want to throw that on, you'll attack hella fast. So I think Baruch overall is kind of a boring frame for a lot of people. So he can be very strong, and with like the whole elude as well as just Serene Storm, lull, desolate hands, he's actually pretty strong overall. But you do have to like his general kit. And I know just these days, Baruch's not as popular, right? Some people say A, some people say C, some people say D. Yeah, some might love, some might hate. I myself would throw him probably, I wouldn't throw him in A tier. He could go B, but he could probably go A if you really love him. You can do a ton of damage with him still, but I'll throw him in B tier with everyone right now. He's kind of gone thrown into old forgotten Warframe territory, but he is still pretty cool. So I would definitely still rank him highly if you like playing him and if you really love his augmented Fists of Fury. So yeah, let me know what you think on that. Next up, we got Caliban. So Caliban's been reworked and is actually a lot stronger now. So that's probably gonna kind of matter on that. Razor Gyre is actually a good ability to use now because you just get shield back. So it's a great it's a great shield gate mechanic going on there, right? Then you have Armor Shred. No, not Armor Shred. This one's the damage vulnerability. You have Armor Shred on your 4th ability, and you have just spawns. They help out, but the spawns are probably right now the least consequential part of his kit. So Caliban, I would say, is still very strong and got a huge upgrade. Right now, I would put him in A tier because he has a good kit for everything. You could actually even throw him on S tier, but I think his kit's a little clunkier, so I wouldn't quite throw him on S. But you have invulnerability with shield gating on Razor Gyre. You have full armor shred. You have straight up damage vulnerability, so they made him very strong. And if you're a solo player, you have freaking spawns that you can throw around, and it takes the pressure off of you, so you have to use Razor Gyre and shield gate even less. So yeah, Caliban's really strong now, and a lot of people enjoy him a lot more. So that's pretty good. Good job, Caliban. Good job, Caliban. Next up, we have Chroma. Chroma Prime. I know, beautiful skin, right? Chroma is one of those Warframes that kind of needs a buff right now. Overall, the kit just works a little goofy. You have an AoE increase of loot a bit, well, credit chance, on Effigy, but it's a stationary ability, so it just works as kind of like a weaker AoE turret. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just I don't like how it works. You have Vex Armor, which is like, okay, cool. Armor. Damage, armor increase. Nice. You just get tankiness, essentially. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So it's a good team player. Your second ability, though, is kind of lackluster. You just do forward AoE attacks. The ones you really want to just do is just electricity, so it just does more damage. Maybe if it had better range, maybe if it had better radius kind of that way. Or is this? No, the first one's the breath. I was totally getting it mixed up. The first one's the breath. Don't really like that. But this one is just kind of like a buff. And it is nice, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't work as some others. Maybe if he had a better kit around his like 1, his 3, and his 4, he'd be a little better. His 2 seems to be really good overall, but I think he just kind of needs a rework to be played better and to like swap around his kit. Because like, man, it just worked kind of clunkily. He doesn't have any inherent, other than normal shield gating, good tankiness. You have like electricity, you have cold, but yeah, heat, yeah, nothing amazing. Vex Armor is decent enough. You just have a lot of armor, and especially in a game like Warframe, armor just isn't the most important. So yeah, he could be better. He definitely could be better. I think he's clunky, but I think he's playably still like a good frame. I just don't like his kit. And even if you look at some of those augments, just more armor, right? Shield burst explosion, afterburns, a little bit more damage. Allies leave radius for more duration. Even the FG one's like, meh, whatever. So I think he could get reworked and he'd be a lot better. So I would throw him probably C to B these days. I would kind of throw him in C. I think he works well in B. I'm just throwing him in C because he's not a fun, playably enjoyable frame. His kit can work, but it's also kind of annoyingly bad with some stuff. So yeah, half of his abilities are just fodder. Throw off his Spectral Scream. You could even throw off Effigy if you don't care about getting more credits. So yeah, I don't like Chroma that much. Don't worry, this is going to be a very biased tier list, everybody, with everyone in chat and whatnot. So let me know what you think on that one. So yeah, I'll throw Chroma in C on that. Next up is Citrine. Citrine is a very strong, more of a stationary defense frame IMO. I really enjoy her. You don't have to stay stationary. It's just her kit, it works a little better because of her AoE gem. So I really like her overall. She has good survivability. Fractured Blast is really nice for energy health regeneration because of the increased drops. Preserving Shell is just straight up a damage reduction ability, so it works pretty well. I don't think damage reduction is as good as inherent like OP shield gating builds or overguard shield gating type builds because of just how it works, but it's still really nice, so it'll take you far. You can use Steel Path very easily, so it's a good ability, right? Prismatic Gem, I just love the AoE turrets, so it is a reactive turret, so as long as you're fighting people, you kill the hell out of them. And then you have Crystalline, which is just AoE freeze and insane crit chance. And I took through on Recrystallize so that it just kind of goes along and recrystallizes everyone. I love Citrine. She's a fan favorite. You can always do whatever build since she has Prismatic Gem. You can throw on full Archon mods. I'm a big fan. I don't really need adaptation on right there. I should probably throw on Rolling Guard, to be honest, because of the DR. But man, I am a huge fan of her. I've always loved her kit. I would throw her pretty solidly on, I would say, A tier. Let me find out where they chucked Citrine, because this is a updated list. So Citrine, I would throw her pretty solidly on A tier. I really enjoyed her kit. I used her a lot when she came out for at least like the first year or so. So I really enjoy it. 10 out of 10. Would Citrine again. Big favorite of her. Yeah. So let me know if you love Citrine or if you absolutely hate Citrine. Looks like a lot of people agree like Citrine A or S. I could totally agree. Maybe if her DR was a sick, insane shield gate or like overguard gate, like Clervo, Daggeth, Dante type of deal, then I would totally throw her on S. But sometimes it can be annoying with just DR IMO because this game right now, it works less on damage vulnerabilities if you want to go like high level, and it works really well on, or sorry, it doesn't work well on damage reduction at a high level. It works well on just straight up invincibility gates, shield gate invincibility, right? It's like invincibility is this game's defensive meta, it seems right now, but DR is still really good up until a certain point, so still really love her. Still throw her in A tier. Now, Daggeth is also one of a newer frame, and I think she's absolutely lovely. Just mwah, beautiful frame, okay? You have some good AoE on Grave Spirit. Wait, no, is that your... No, I was thinking of the AoE on Warding Scythe. I'm getting them mixed up. Warding Scythe's really nice, and it has a slow, so it helps for survivability. And viral, like, come on, love it, right? So Doom is really good. It's just straight up damage reduction, or sorry, damage redirection. I can't speak. It just makes it so that I think like Scythe people take a ton more damage, okay? And then Bioward Scythe, everyone just in the AoE takes a ton more damage. And her kit's like viral, so no matter what, you're good. And then Grave's Spirit is just straight up buffs, okay? You just have just a ton of buffs, okay? Supercharged Jag's weapon with extra crit damage, right? You have crit damage, and then it doubles with doomed characters. You have time invulnerable. Oh my god. So it is essentially a passive buff and a invincibility, you don't die. So awesome. You have legitimately invulnerability and a second life. That's what this game gives you with Daggeth. And then if you have issues, you just spam shield gate. I only have Augur Reach and Brief Respite. Like, I love her. Your fourth ability is the defense reduction. It's not the highest defense reduction, okay? So it's only at like 35%. So if you really want to hit one-shot full armor, you'd have to up her strength. I absolutely love Daggith myself. I had a ton of fun with her. I think one of her... Yeah, if you have a sweet setup, you're essentially always on Grave Spirit, so you just never die, right? Like, Spectral Spirit kills outside of spectral form, decreases its cooldown by 1 second. Like, you can essentially just never die. She is insane. I don't think you even need Spectral Spirit, but I would replace probably like my Adaptation or my Rolling Guard probably with Spectral Spirit nowadays. I just haven't rebuilt her for that yet, but I would probably do that. IMO. So I think she's straight up S tier. She has kind of everything. She has really good invincibility sets. She has really good damage increases. She has some armor shred. So she has the whole kit and caboodle. She's pretty godly. I guess the only thing that would make her even better, obviously, it would just be AoE nuke. And then she's just Dante and she has the whole kit and she'd be like SSS tier. So just triple S. Or are we going to go with X tier at that point? I don't know. I'm thinking like friggin' old DDR type games, just SS, triple S. Ugh. So she is insane. Daggith's amazing. I love her. Now we have Dante. Oh my god, why are so many D-named characters godly? He's the best character right now in the game, okay? That's how I view him. His first ability is a straight up augmented book. By itself, it's not like the best, but it does a ton of damage, okay? Your secondary hit on it does so much damage, and just the overall damage of it is really high, okay? You can build it a couple ways. As you can see, you can build it to just big number, and you can hit 250,000 base total damage. What the fuck? On your secondary attack. This is your main attack. It hits 22,000 base. Holy crap, that's insane, right? Insane amounts of damage on that. Or you can build it so that you buff your character for strength, duration, okay, armor shield buff, regen buffs, more universal orb drops, right, affinity range. You can give it the tome mods that make it even better, and then it works as a passive buffer. Okay, so you're pretty much yeeting on a gajillion Archon shards on your Warframe if you use Dante with Noctua like that. Then you have Light Verse, which is Overguard. You have Dark Verse, which is Damage Slash. And then you have your fourth ability, which combos 2-2 into it, 2-3 into it, 3-3 into it, or 3-2 into it. And it is 4 separate abilities. And you get insane Overguard. You get insane damage and damage multiplier. You get insane protective AoE damage on Word Warden. I think it just like increases the damage that enemies take. So you just have damage buffs, right? Like, what? Yeah, it copies it to allies' attacks. Insane. And then you just have even more damage. Oh no, Page Flight's the one that's like damage vulnerability. Wooden Warden is just more damage. Okay, sorry. So yeah, enemies just take so much damage. Oh my god. You have 4 active abilities. They all have a pretty good base duration of 45 seconds because it's your fourth ability. So you can build him insanely high amounts of strength. You can build him insanely high amounts of duration. Everything works well on him. You don't even need a ton of efficiency because you're just murdering everything, but you probably still do if you want to spam abilities like the true mage you are. So I have Equilibrium on. Oh my god, Dante's the best Warframe in the game right now. Why? It's just, oh god, he is S tier. Dante belongs S tier. If there was a higher S plus, super S tier, I would throw him on there. Jesus, he does need his own tier. It's just Dante, everything else. Like, yeah, he is just insane, okay? He has invincibility pretty much, because you're just always killing stuff. As long as you have your cooldowns on always, you're a guy. You're a god. No. Overguard falls off, but it doesn't at the same time because Shield Gate and Overguard Gate is still insane right now. So the added protection of all of that, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Like, so good. So good. I just have Prime Surefooted on mainly for the meme. Don't worry about it. And for when I lose Overguard and get knocked over. Prime Surefoot is kind of great on everyone. Sorry to say. At this point, other than people who have it built into the kit. Even with Overguard, you can lose Overguard and instantly get knocked over with how Warframe works. If you're playing high levels and if you're playing like solo especially. But yeah, that's why Prime Surefooted can just work. It can just work. So Dante, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Would Dante again, and then we go Ember. Dun dun dun, Ember. So Ember is really strong as well. She got reworked a little bit ago, like a couple years now, maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years. I don't know. So she is really strong right now overall, but she could be better. But she's still strong, right? You have damage reduction, but it's not just a flat damage reduction. Other Warframes have a stronger, better damage reduction, but hers is still very good, okay? Fireball, overall, it's kind of whatever, and by default, it's not a great ability, right? Fire Blast, overall, is a good ability, okay? Good armor reduction, pretty strong, but you always have to remember that you have to keep in mind her entire kit of fire. So you have to Fire Blast and Fireball, okay? So this reduces your immolation, and your Inferno increases immolation meter. And it just does straight up fire damage. So she's pretty strong, but she's not by any means like the strongest Warframe. I think last year I memeingly chucked her on S tier. I would not say she's actually S tier, okay? Because it's just like fire damage and fire damage increase your flame meter, and then the other ability decreases it, and armor reductions. When you start throwing on some of her kit augments here, she gets a lot stronger, because then you can start throwing on Overguard with like Healing Flame, right? And Purifying Flame, I wouldn't really say it's super necessary. Exothermic's cool, but not necessary. And then Fireball Frenzy is nice if you want to just buff allies and like damage and stuff. So I would say she's pretty good. I don't know, I would not put her as like S tier. Maybe like A tier these days, or like A to B tier. It's just like compared to Citrine and Caliban, I feel like her kit's more annoying to use. They're more simple. You just kind of always have to have your fire on. Toggle between using your fourth ability and your third ability. Her first ability is her most useless, so you can definitely throw that on or like chuck that off. But her fourth ability is just like fire damage, so yeah, I'd say she could be anywhere from A to B. I'll throw her in B right now, but she could definitely be a contender to A. Like, the full armor shred's nice, the damage reduction's nice, but damage reduction, again, it's not shield gating, so yeah, I'll throw her in B right now. Realistically, I'll throw her in B. I think she's strong and she works well, but she falls off, like, for sure. Like, she definitely falls off later on in Steel Path, and the amount of fire damage on her fourth ability could definitely be higher, because, like, that's just not a ton, man. It's just not a ton. So there we'll go with Ember Prime. Yeah, I'll have the video up with timestamps in another handful of days, whether that be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll find out. So Equinox. What does everybody think about Equinox? I myself am just straight up not that super familiar with Equinox. You have essentially 8 abilities because you swap between dark verse, night verse, or like day-night form, and you can also be on like mid form, which is, I think you can do the in-between form. I think that's how that works. That it just does like a buff of both, or maybe I'm just crazy. Either way, you have essentially day-night. So damage multiplier or shield capacity and armor, right? Damage and speed, shield and armor. Okay. For Rest and Rage, you have damage, vulnerability, speed increase, wake up, health threshold. So you just do more damage, right? Here you have energy per ability and strength. Okay. And then on night, you have energy per enemy and damage multiplier. Okay. Cool. I'm not a huge fan. She is good. I am just not a huge fan of her. She is not by any means like C or D tier. I think you could pretty solidly put her on A or B tier, right? Mend and Maim, also good. You just have like a lot of damage multipliers, a lot of damage overall. You have good different types of defensive capabilities, right? Shield per kill is always pretty interesting, so yeah, not too shabby. I'm just not familiar enough with her, to be honest, and I do think people get annoyed with how her kit works, because you essentially have 2 Warframes in a sense, so not bad. Chuck that on. I would say she could do anywhere from B to A. I don't think she'd be S tier. I'm throwing her on B because, like, it's very annoying for a lot of things. She's really good. It's just other Warframes can do better, okay? She can do better. She has good AoE. She has good survivability. She has good multipliers. But, like, you can't have all the things on at one time because you're either in day form or you're either in night form. So you kind of have to choose between how you want to play her. And that can be annoying depending on like if you're built more for day or more for night, or if you have a certain play style. So yeah, she is kind of gimmicky because of the like day-night cycle, 2 different ability sets that are similar but different, right? So you can only really use, exactly, right? Like, they have 2 abilities, but you can only use 1 at a time. So she's cool, and she's pretty interesting. I like her if I got more time with her, but I don't know if I'll love her gimmick. So she's still pretty good, and if you like to play her, 100% go for it. I'd throw her on B tier, and if you really love her, I could see A tier for sure. Hell, maybe even S tier if you just love her. But I have a goofy-ass build. Don't take this stuff seriously. I do not play her. A lot of augments, though, right? Definitely makes her a little better. But I don't think they make her insane or anything, so. Yeah. Good job. Good job. I think last year I put Nidus in A tier. I think I would probably do the same this year. But maybe even B tier because of how annoying his survivability can be at higher levels. Ooh, Excal Umbra. So, Excal Umbra, Excal at Anyway is the poster boy of Warframe. He's a beautiful frame, okay? Very great Warframe. He's just not insane compared to how Warframes are these days. I Helminth on Nourish there, okay? Don't worry too much. His first ability is just Slash Dash, and you just slash between enemies and do some damage, right? He's built really well for general melee damage because that's his kit. He is the melee swordsman, so Fierce Javelin's pretty nice. And no, Warrior's Rest sucks, right? And Radiant Finish also, if you feel like going for finishers, is good, but overall I wouldn't use it, right? He has a decent enough kit, but it's like a boring simple kit, right? Radiant Howl is just AoE kind of god, I guess it's CC, but I just don't know what to call it. So it's an AoE CC scream. I don't know if you can consider it a blind, if you will. It causes enemies to freak out, right? Which is cool. It's just, you know, you spam it a lot and it's really cheap. So it is really strong and it's nice. 10 out of 10. Radial Javelin is another AoE CC, right? Well, it's Umbra, so it removes sentient resistances, but like, who gives a shit? Who fucking cares? That doesn't matter, I'm sorry to tell you. In the grand scheme of things, who gives a shit on that, right? So Radial Javelin's kind of weak. It's just CC with Slash, so it's like, there's a lot of way better abilities. Oh no, it does Slash, Puncture, and Impact. Woo, but Slash status. Either way, it's like whatever. And Exalted Blade is his really cool ability, right? It's the cool melee swordsman ability that you're probably going to use. And you know what? That's lovely. But overall, he's not a great frame, especially in the current meta. So he could probably, like, pretty solidly be thrown in C tier these days. Like, B tier, because you just love him. But probably C tier too. Like, he's just not good enough, especially in Warframe nowadays. His best part about him is no fucking joke. The fact that he actually has, like, AoE CC that is very easy to spam on his second ability. I legitimately think that's one of his nicer kit items. And Radial Javelin's annoying because you have to cast speed increase for it. I hate how slow it is. But it's just another CC that does a little bit of damage. And it's a lot better when you throw on Furious Javelin. But that could also be stronger. So it's like, yeah, he's just an old frame. He has a good enough kit and he can do things pretty easily, but he's just mid compared to just everything else nowadays, right? So yeah, I love Excal and he's really cool, but he's just a mid frame. He is the poster boy and he's really sweet. But as far as the whole Warframe meta goes, Dante, Daggith, Citrine, Caliban run circles around him, right? Like, whew. If anything's outside of his range, you can just get shot around everywhere. You gotta always build a lot for survivability, depending on what sort of activity you're doing in Steel Path, right? But, you know, I throw Rolling Guard on damn near everyone anyway, so yeah, I would still throw him down there. He's cool, though, and I still love him. Even with, like, a good Exalted Chromatic Blade, I love his Exalted Chromatic Blade, right? I am ranged swordsman. It could still be, like, way stronger, but it's a lovely weapon. I could build it better now with more galvanized mods, of course. 10 out of 10. I love Excal. He's just not, like, an amazing frame. I hate how it, like, pops it up at the top. Anyways, now, Frost Prime. Frost has gone through, I think we can all agree, a good many of general QOL updates, everything along the lines of that, okay? He is stronger, way stronger than he used to be, okay? Way stronger than he used to be. So, good on Frost. Right now, Freeze is like probably one of the worst abilities, but at least it still freezes people, unlike Ember's Fire, right? So at least it's CC. Ice Wave by default also kind of sucks, but at least it's some CC. By default, I still think these two abilities kind of suck, right? But then you have your AoE Snow Globe. Okay, okay. Not bad. It also has just time and vulnerability. So you have good AoE CC, but it could always be better. And then you have Avalanche, which I really like, and which makes him a lot better nowadays. It is a really good freeze, okay? And it's a good armor reduction. But once you get some augments on that, oh, you're just overguarding to like high heaven, okay? And some of the other augments are also really cool, right? Like Ice, impedance, cold status, nothing amazing. Chilling Globe, so you can just freeze people that enter your ice. Okay, okay. You have Freeze Force if you feel like making your first ability, just like other Warframes have the same general augment. It just makes your weapons get frost damage, right? So it's just like a passive buff. I'd say Frost is pretty cool nowadays and usably good, especially once you get Icy Avalanche, okay? All Icy Avalanche, just... yeah, but you can always swap around some of those abilities, right? Frost gains 50 armor per enemy inflicted with cold status. Oh, cold status effects from Frost ability have their duration increased by 100%. So you're pretty much just freezing everyone constantly. Not bad. And he gets a lot better with the Helminth, of course. But overall, Frost, with like Icy Avalanche, I would say you can definitely throw him on A tier. I would still throw him on B tier by default, though. Like, Frost is still good and strong, but compared to some other stuff, could be a lot better, right? And he has a decent enough kit for survivability now with Icy Avalanche, but it'll take you some time to get that, so really depends how you look at it. Frost is still pretty cool, though, and I think is usably a lot stronger nowadays, once you get Icy Avalanche, compared to back in the day. Next up, okay, we had Frost, but now we're going with Gara Prime. So, love or hate Gara Prime? Oh, it's doing the Korra whip thing. So this is Gara Prime, sorry. Love or hate? A lot of augments, I think, but no, just 3, not a ton. So die, have a chance to drop Energy Orb. Meh, that's okay. And then Splinter Storm. Oh, you have heals per second. That's a little better, but I don't think Mending Splinters is amazing, so I wouldn't usually bother using any of these. I think probably that one's better than Mending Splinters. But Shattering Storm, ooh, when you break your ring, you get stuck with Gauss's Suffer Splinter Storm. Yeah, pretty much just damage, right? More damage and more strength on that damage. I am not a huge Gara player, so I don't have the best, okay? The best Gara at all. Rejuvenation's a meme, don't worry about it. By the way, don't take it too seriously. First ability is pretty cool, right? You can either whip people with glass or you can shoot glass. Not insane by itself. It works like all of the other Warframes, just lame cast ability at a lower level, or it's just a whip, which is cool, right? Splinter Storm, I would say, is a lot better. It's like defensive, it's damage multiplier, and it kind of freezes or jumps onto enemies and glass damages them. So I would say Splinter Storm's actually pretty decent. And if you like need healing because you're going with a DR health type armor build, like go for it. But hey, then you have Spectrudge, which I don't love it, but it is kind of funny. It just confuses enemies because they shoot at the glass that surrounds them. Could be better, works better with range, but hey, I don't love it, I don't hate it, you know? And then you have Mass Vitrify, which is actually very lovely. It's a damage multiplier, AoE type of Frost Orb similar ability, but you break the glass and it increases damage, or it increases damage, I think, when it goes through them when you're building it. So it's decent enough, and once you hit it with your first ability, it does AoE damage as well. You know, hit that shit with Shattered Storm as well. Like, I'd say decent enough. It's just her kit's kind of slow, it's kind of janky, and it's not as good as like a lot of other Warframes. So she is an old Warframe, and she suffers because of that 100%. But she is strong and definitely good. So, yeah. I would throw her probably on C tier. I would throw her on D tier 2 for me because like I just never use her. But I like using her here and there when I run, oh, what's that mode? Duviri usually. So I just think she suffers from being an old frame, and she has a really slow kit, especially once you start casting your 4th ability. 4th ability is just way too slow, and a lot of her kit kind of works with for it. So, I mean, she's decent, right? She's decent, but I don't love her, so I would definitely throw her on C. And I wouldn't put a lot of time into her builds myself because, again, I don't like her. Next up, we have Garuda. So how does everyone think of the tier list so far? Is it chaos? Is it good? Do you hate it? Do you love it? And yeah, of course, this is going to be the video probably in a day or two. We'll see when it goes up because I love making tier lists. Oh, man. I wish they'd update Garuda a little bit, to be honest. Not Garuda, sorry. I like Blood. I just need to use her a little better. I wish they'd upgrade Gara more. Now, Garuda Prime, Garuda. She is a good frame. I think overall she's pretty good. You kind of throw on your forward defenses, right? Is it Dreadmere? Yeah. Throw on your forward defenses. You always have to make sure the issue is people are in front of you because obviously they'll damage you from behind, but you're essentially invulnerable from the front. So that's pretty cool. And then you use it to do a ton of damage. So cool ability. Blood Altar is also nice to just have an AoE heal around, especially because you're Garuda and like you use up a lot of blood because you are essentially invincible with your 2nd and 3rd ability because you can always energy shield gate, energy regen, and rinse repeat. So that's cool. Why am I running Energize? Because I'm boring and I just don't care. Then you have Seeking Talons, which is really nice, just damage AoE slash. It could be like higher damage, but you have Dreadmere if you actually want to like one-shot slap the shit out of people, right? See, with Bloodletting and Arcane Energize, the laziness is unstoppable. I also have Arcane Bodyguard on my dudes. Why is no one calling that out? What the fuck? You're calling out Arcane Energize but not Bodyguard? Come on, chat. You're tunnel visioning on the goofery. My build's not super serious. Don't take everything that's so serious. This is an easy mode looter shooter. Remember that. So, weapons reloaded up to yeah, don't really care about Bloodforge. You have the Dread Ward, which is really good. Dreadmere Augment. Become unkillable for 8 seconds when Dreadmere kills a target by ripping its life force. So, oh, cool. Cool. So you can start ripping life force and kill them to just constantly be invincible, depending on if that's how you want. You don't have to use this. You can just like shield gate type of setup, which is, you know, I'd swap her around to a shield gate. It's not like this build series again. But Bleeding Talons is also really nice, and I like using it. You gain additional combo count chance when hitting enemies affected by slash. You just AoE kill everyone. She's a pretty cool, pretty nice Warframe. I wouldn't throw her on S tier or anything. She's definitely not loved by Warframe community overall, as like I never see her played. But she is a very strong Warframe, okay? So good for her. I would throw her, if you really like her, sure, you can throw her on S tier. I would say by default, she's like A, maybe B if you hate her kit, but I would say she's A tier. She's really strong. You just run around killing everyone. As long as you're popping your abilities and paying enough attention, you won't die. If you throw on Dread Ward, you're even more invincible. Like, she's just really good. High damage and slash. Okay, good frame. I definitely would love to play her more, though. Yeah, you don't need Blood Altar. Something like Gloom's just better overall. But Blood Altar is also really cool, because it just kind of like bloodlets the enemies, and they're your sacrificial lambs. Garuda is a cool frame, even though I don't personally use her a ton or anything, obviously. I still think she's really dope. Ooh, Gauss. I'm actually surprisingly not a huge Gauss player, okay? Yeah, Frost is low because his overall kit's shit, but once you get Icy Avalanche, he's a lot better. That's the general idea of Frost. Like, a good enough low tier kit that makes a lot better with Icy Avalanche. That's the idea behind Frost, IMO. I don't love Frost by default, and I don't think Frost is the best, but I think Frost is a better kit now. So, Gauss. Gauss is a fast boy. Very fast. Don't have to use Mock Crash or anything. I like using Thermal Sunder. Or Thermal Transfer, not Sunder. But a lot of frames also have the same idea of Thermal Transfer abilities, right? Same shit. Gauss is great, okay? Gauss is just an amazing Warframe. You have the first ability, which is objectively like the worst ability because you just run and generate your gauge, but it's kind of necessary to build your gauge faster. So yeah, I would still keep it on for sure, right? But then you have kinetic plating, which is, that's right, up to 100% armor resistance. You just have to make sure you keep your battery up, right? So yeah, one of the few frames that technically has a 100% damage reduction. It's kind of annoying sometimes, but hey, it's there. Thermal Sunder is really cool. So you just straight up AoE damage, cold or heat, right? Cold or heat. So it's just AoE status. The nice thing is you can use thermal transfer and then you can also buff yourself. So, hey, I like it. I like it. He's a really strong frame. And then last but not least is you have freaking Redline. Yeah, pair to make blast. Shit's really good, okay? He's great. Even though I'm not a huge Gauss player, okay? I like Speedy Boy. And then you have straight up Redline, which is just awesome, okay? Such a good buff. You have to make sure you use it when you have high battery so you get the best possible numbers on it, because that's how it works, right? But like fire rate, attack speed, reload, casting speed, this is essentially your volt speed idea. It's great, okay? It's awesome. 10 out of 10. I love it. Gauss is, while I don't play him a lot, he's fucking amazing, okay? A lot of people really love him. People love Speedy Boys. I'm a duration and some strength build. Great. I wouldn't throw him on S tier, but I would still throw Gauss on A tier, okay? I think to throw something on S, I really also have to like it, and I have to like see people, or I have to see a ton of people just generally using it in the game. Gauss was, when he came out, and for a while after, huge popular Warframe favorite for many people. And he's still very good. So, good job, Gauss. I think he's obviously just fallen out of popularity because he's older than a lot of other frames now. And he's aged, and that's it. Like, that's legitimately it. So, I really like Gauss. I'm not a huge Gauss player. Now, Grendel. Grendel's all over the place. They reworked Grendel a bit now, right? So now he's better. He's actually noticeably a good frame. You still have to work around his kit, though. It's like, he's a very kit-reliant character. First ability is Feast. You eat people, and you just do damage to them, okay? Each enemy consumed grants a lot of armor, so the idea is you'd want to ideally consume a ton of people at once, right? Nourish is just huge buffs. It's awesome, right? Oh my god. You get so, look at that. Health, energy multiplier. You get damage increase, viral. Whew. Nourish is awesome. Everyone knows it, loves it, insane, great ability. Like, just fucking damage, huge damage. Damage! It's awesome, okay? And it's a squad buff too. Awesome. Okay, Pulverize is probably his memeiest ability. That's the thing, he's very memey. Yeah, Nourish is most used element, it's too good. The Pulverize ability, it's better now because it does some damage and now it armor shreds enemies, so it's actually a lot better. But you have to play as a ball, running around and knocking into people, okay? So if you like doing that, hey, he's a really good frame. And then Regurgitate is an armor reduction ability, so he is kind of a gimmicky frame. If you don't want to use Pulverize, you just Helminth it out, which is nice. And then you use the rest of his kit. And if you do want to use Pulverize, you probably... Well, no, you don't want to Helminth off Regurgitate because you can use it while in ball form now. So, yeah, it's just a lot better. They upgraded him, so he's way, way better now. So, yeah. Awesome. Hearty Nourishment, I don't think this is necessary. It's nothing amazing. I like the Catapult because you launch Grendel and you become like an actual heat-seeking missile. So, if you love being ball mode and it does enough damage now to actually kill like actual enemies, do it. Do it. And then you have Gourmand. And instead of energy, consumes health on cast. Glutton grants an additional armor. So if you just want to go armor tank, yeah, go for it. Yeah, I forgot. True. Grendel 3 works with his 2 as well, and his ball becomes bigger. He nourishes, he consumes, he nourish, he grow. He's a cool frame. You have to like his kit though. I would throw him, honestly, I would throw him on, I'm going to throw him on A tier because Nourish is just that good. Nourish is really good, and he overall as a Warframe is good with eating people and armor shredding enemies. But he'll never be S tier, and he could be B tier for a lot of people because of like the Pulverize and eating gimmick of him. And it's not like he has an invincibility state or anything. He just has really good survivability and armor, but he doesn't have like invincibility or built-in like shield gating, right? So yeah, his new augment I would actually have to find it because I don't even know if I have it right now, but it's a lot better. So a lot better. Let me quickly find it, but it does make him a lot better. That is true. Augments always make everything a lot stronger. Okay. So overall, if you want to go for that, go for that. But yeah, there are a lot of good, strong augments in this game. Like, it's pretty cool. More armor. Yeah, I don't care about that one too much, though. Either way, he's pretty cool. I would still throw him probably actually, yeah, probably A tier. Nourish is just so good. Not bad. Not bad. Is that even how that works? Either way, he's a good frame, and I would recommend him. I would have to, let me double check to see if I'm crazy or not. But, yeah, not bad, not bad. I'd still throw him on A tier. I'd still throw him on A tier. He's a cool frame. You can throw Gloom on him. Yeah, Gloom Enjoyer. Okay, cool. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on Grendel, realistically. I'm not a huge Grendel player at all. Cool kit, though. Gyre. Okay, we'll quickly go over Gyre. Gyre is a pretty decent enough kit. I don't think she's insane, but she has a decent enough kit. You have cool little AoE Electric. Oh, not bad. And then you have Coil Horizon, which is a decent enough small tier CC. So it's cool as well. It works well with your other abilities. Her third ability is the nicest because it's just AoE, huge crit chance, and increases durations on kill, so you just constantly kill people. So yeah, it also gives energy regen. So that's true. And then your fourth ability is your actual AoE electric ability. So I think she works really well. They have a gimmick where she like stacks up her electricity, 10% chance to deal critical damage of electric statuses. So I'd say she's really good. She doesn't have a built-in amazing like survivability. She is all just AoE electric damage and some CC. And like just damage, because crit, right? And energy regen. She's really strong. You just have to make sure to throw on your survivability, shield getting type stuff. I'm gonna throw her on A. I don't think she's S tier. She does do a lot of damage, and you can increase her range a ton. But, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of her. And then once you start throwing on augments, right? Like, oh, more damage, more duration. Cool, 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 cool. Recall radius detonation. I don't think her augments are the most insane. But she is still very good. I'll throw her on an A tier. A lot of people seem to really like her. So I would throw her myself probably on B tier because I don't use her a ton. But if we want to go by chat really liking her, looks like we would throw her on A tier. Now, the next Warframe we have up right after, where are you? Gyre, Harrow Prime. Oh god, Harrow's a cool frame. Harrow is headshot frame, energy frame, like, he's pretty good. First ability is really nice, and he has built-in shield regen, which, you know what that means, really good shield gating. I would have to, this is a bad build, don't worry about it. I'd have to actually work around and change this to start playing Harrow again. So Harrow's really good. You have really good, well-built shield gate on Condemn. Okay, passive overshield capacity doubled, start mission max capacity. Overshield is doubled, right? Woo! Your second ability, I wish it had a longer cooldown or longer duration because it is a ability you have to spam a lot, and then it's just like good buffs essentially, right? And you get more shield, more duration. It's annoying, okay? So I wish it just had a little bit more by default. But you pretty much use it when you have really high shield. You use it for a while, and then boom, good buffs. It's really strong. It's just kind of goofy like that. Now, Thurible. Thurible's just like energy conversion, right? Duration, radius, headshot multiplier. Yeah, energy conversion, headshot multiplier, you do a lot of damage. I'm not a huge Harrow player, so just keep that in mind, okay? And then Covenant is probably one of your like goofier abilities, but it is still pretty good, right? Because it's just AoE protection, right? Protection duration, retaliation duration. It has just more headshot multiplier. Oh god, I forgot. Remember, he's headshot frame. Crit per 100 damage. Like, he does a lot of damage. He has good survivability. I am just not a Harrow player, which I really have to actually start playing Harrow and mess around with Harrow, okay? But damn, is Harrow strong. So you could throw him pretty comfortably on S tier right now if you like his playstyle. The reason being is insane survivability, right? You have headshot, damage, you have energy. I'm throwing your boy on A though, get fucked. Because A, I just don't play him enough, and his kit is very micromanagey, right? So a lot of people might hate that as well. And that is definitely a thing that really pisses people off. So I would probably throw him on A, but you can throw him on S if you really like him, but you might throw him on B if you really hate having to spam the shit out of his kit constantly. So yeah, it really depends as always, but Harrow's a really good frame if you like the kit. The issue is a lot of people really hate using his kit. They would probably like it if they would have to spam certain abilities a lot less. But hey, that's where you go for Harrow. Thought I would put Harrow as an S tier? No, 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 no. He's really great. I just don't use him enough to actually want to do that. Then you have Hildren Prime. Whew, Hildren Prime? Nice. So, Hildren, my goofy enough build, got a huge update, and she's a lot more usably good now. Okay? So, that's good. You have to, she's like the energy frame. The energy shield frame, sorry. More shield, less energy. Hildren's full shield gate is high. After her shield's depleted, you have a, no matter what, 3.5 second survivability invulnerability gate, right? She's a lot better now, which is nice. Balefire is still like kind of a lame ability by default, just because it's like a kind of weak gun, and it uses shield. Whatever, you might like it. Pillage is insane, because it's just, you use it, and boom, you're shielded. You just gotta remember not to pillage when you have no shield. So, good shield gate there, good shield gate. Haven, and then you just shield aura, okay? Awesome. Just do damage, more shield capacity, shield recharge. Ooh. So more survivability. Okay. And then I have Gloom thrown on. Her fourth ability is her like flying around. I need to throw Gloom off because I just have a goofy ass setup for her right now. But her base abilities, okay? Her base abilities, even without Gloom, overall, she's pretty good. Now that her fourth ability swapped out, and updated, you fly around and it's awesome, right? You fly around, you use your abilities, and you constantly hit enemies. So she has a pretty general good setup, okay? The Gloom was more of the meme to just freeze everyone, of course, of course. So good for her, good for her. You have some augments you can use, Balefire Surge. Yeah, right? Restore shield if you don't want to use Balefire to lose a bunch of shield. And then Blazing Pillage is actually real nice because you A, get more shield and it lights people on fire. I don't know. I think she's usably a lot stronger. If you really like her, you could probably put her higher tier. I still think she's kind of B tier. She's a very like situational, you have to like her kit kind of frame. She is the shield frame, so everything is based around her shield essentially, right? You fly around, you steal shield from enemies, you do some damage, and you can shoot them with your augmented ability. I just don't like her kit much, and I never really have. That's why you can see I've literally put almost no time on her. But yeah, her Exalta has the second highest damage. Yeah, you can do a lot. Once you build up the friggin' Balefire, yeah, this thing does a ton of damage. I don't know. I just don't like using it. Like, as you can see, I've barely built it up. This is, like, really old. But it does do insane damage. So if you like using it, then, yeah. I just don't like slow-style shooting explosive weapons, you know? Either way. Pretty good. Overall, pretty good. 10 out of 10. Would Hildren again. I'm just going to throw her on B tier. She has high damage. You can throw her higher, but I'll throw her on B tier because she's not my preferred frame by any means, okay? By any means. Next up, we have Hydroid. Hydroid also went through, in the recent years, some reworks, okay? And Hydroid is better, okay? Hydroid is better. You have Tempest Barrage. It's one of the weaker abilities, but now it like it pushes people around. So Rain's pretty cool, and I have Viral Tempest on for status chance, right? Tidal Surge, just run through people. Also kind of a shitty ability, right? Then you have Plunder, which is way better, okay? Armor, damage increase, oh my god, corrosive damage, look at that! Burr, 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 burr. So your third ability, also, enemies are more vulnerable to corrosive initial status reducing armor. So he's a corrosive frame. Very strong overall nowadays because of that, right? The Plunder ability effect really adds to him. And it has a decent enough duration. So nice. Makes you a little tankier. Makes you shred their armor a little better. Nice. And then you have Tentacle Swarm, which is just tentacles. Tentacles everywhere. You just CC with tentacles, right? Oh. Then you throw on some of those augments, right? I have Viral Tempest on because my Tempest just throws and eats everything on. I have Pilfering Swarm if you want to get some more loot. I don't care about that. Tidal Impunity. So, yeah. Just essentially, it is more survivability if you need it. Okay. If you need it. Ooh. I got you, buddy. Next up, we have Rousing Plunder, which Plunder gains max corrosive damage. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, so heals max. I would still throw him on B. You can pretty easily throw him on A. I think he used to be like a D or a C tier frame though. So they really upped him a lot, and he's a lot usably stronger. So good shit. Good shit. Huge fan. No, I don't love him, but he is a lot way better. And if you do like him, then he's usably really strong compared to how he used to be. So not bad. Next up, we have Inaros Prime. I mean, Inaros is okay. I don't love him, I don't hate him, but they did update him, and he's pretty good now. So your first ability is just some lifesteal and damage. Good enough. Good enough. And then it blinds them, so you can like beat the shit out of them and assassinate them, right? Not bad, not bad. I also have that Desiccation Curse. Sandstorm is good CC and health regen now, so pretty cool. Scarab Shell is good defensive armor. It could be better because it's just like armor, but since he's health frame, yeah, you kind of need that shit. I would throw adaptation on too because health frame. So he is health frame, okay? You need health and you need armor, okay? And then you have Scarab Swarm, which is like, you know, it's good damage. It scales with HP and it just spawns little ghost gavots. So Inaros is pretty cool. I like him. But he's not insane. He's just pretty cool. You have Elemental Sandstorm, which is, you know, more range, status effects and stuff. Nice. You have Negation Armor. Oh, nice. You can heal with pretty much your little Scarab Shell boys on your health or on your armor. So, And then you can just throw on Desiccation Curse if you want to get more Kavots as well as finish people better. I would say he's pretty good nowadays. Like, Inaros used to be like shit tier as well. But guess what? I would still throw him now on like B, maybe C tier if you hate his kit for sure. But he could throw B anywhere from like B to C. He at least has more usability with his new kit and it's more fun to play. But hell, I'll throw him back to C tier actually. Because it's still like kind of a whatever kit, especially in the grand scheme of Warframe. So it's still like whatever. But good for him. He's a lot better now, you know? Good for him. Good for him. So good job, Inaros Prime. Good job. Next up, we have Ivara Prime. Ivara Prime is a pretty cool hunter cat lady. So she has her Artemis bow right there. Hey, not too shabby. Or maybe she's not the cat lady. I'm thinking of Korra. But she's a hunter cat lady in the fact that, I don't know why, but the skin reminds me of Korra. And she is the hunter. So, not bad. She works really well for certain tasks. Quiver is more of like CC, and it's just hard to use this type of stuff in game constantly. You have a Navigator, which it's absolutely dog shit because you have to navigate your one arrow, and it's just so slow that it's like not usably good within the game, right? So like that's not great, but like her overall kit's good. Prowl if you want to like go around assassinate people, headshot, right? And Artemis bow if you really like using the bow. Yeah. You are really good at using her for conservation because you can use your sleep arrow. I just think her overall kit for playing Warframe sucks. Like, I hate it. I would actually say I would give her like a C or a D tier for playing Warframe. But she is S tier for conservation, and she can be S tier for spy and assassination stuff. But I fucking hate her kit so much. I just think it's so boring to play. Like, yeah, more crit damage, headshots, arrows, empowering quiver, yeah, more crit damage, right? Status on arrows, bypass barriers and gain movement speed. Like, she's such a good niche Warframe. Okay? Like, she is such a niche Warframe that it's just, it's wild. It's just wild. Okay. Power of 3, fires 3 arrow, consume 20 more, right? Man, she is such a weird frame like that. I hate her kit for playing the game, but I love her kit if you want to throw her on stealth missions or if I want to throw her on any sort of conservation. Sleep is good for groups of enemies. Yeah, but you don't need that. It's useless. So I'm going to throw her on D tier. She's just a niche frame. I hate her for playing Warframe, but I like her for doing 2 styles of missions. So she is D tier. She is irrefutably a D tier Warframe for me. Her kit is just so shitty and slow and bad for playing Warframe because she is the slowest Warframe in the game. And that's just generally not how people like to play Warframe. Okay, so you could swap around abilities, use other stuff. She's still really good. And her bow is really strong if people like using bows. Don't get me wrong. This shit slaps. The issue is I don't like using bows, and I don't really care for her. And like, it's a shit build. Don't worry about it. It's like 5-6 years old. It's just like, I hate the bow. Don't care. Either way, so if you like using her bow and you like her situationalness, you can probably put her on like S or A tier. I'm putting her on D tier because she's just too niche for me. I love using her for the 2 things that I use her for once in a blue moon, and that is it. And even more stealth and like spy missions, I just throw on Loki or Ashe anyways, so. She's really, for me, the conservation frame because everything she does, I just use a different frame for, other than conservation. So that's why I D tier her instantly. Oh, Jade. Okay. I know a lot of people either really love or really hate Jade, okay? A lot of people have opinions on Jade. Holy, she is a new Warframe. Okay, she is a new frame. Pretty cool, pretty cool. A lot of people either love her or hate her. Her first ability is nice, and it does slow damage per second. But it has a shit duration, and that really annoys me, because you need to throw down so many. So it's annoying, and that pisses me off, okay? Her second ability is just irrefutably good. Strength, sweet. Damage increase, awesome. Shield second, shield regen, you probably don't need that. 2 aura slots, rah, my meme auras. Right, okay, really good passive. Ophanim, Ophanim's Eyes. This is also really decent. It's mainly used as a good slow in front of you and a slow burning armor reduction. Okay, that's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. And then you have your 4th ability, which is just AoE augmented weapon damage. It also has, that's right, when you're in the air, you have damage reduction up to 50%. So you just run around, it increases damage, right? You have an empowered range multiplier and you just freeze people. So that's her kit. You constantly fly around with your 4th ability, okay? The drain's not even that bad. You always have your 3rd ability and your 2nd ability on, and then you throw your 1st ability. I think kills, yeah, duration increases like when you judgment people. So if you kill people, inside Light's Judgment increases your 2nd duration, so you essentially never have to recast it. Okay, not too shabby, not too shabby. So you could have more DR, yeah, if I had more strength. Either way, she is a good frame. I like her, and I think she is very good. I wouldn't say she's S tier. I don't know. Everyone's really hyped to just throw her on S tier. I like her. The increased damage, she just does a lot of damage, does things well. I would probably throw her on right now as an A tier frame. Definitely wouldn't throw her on S tier. I just don't like her overall damage of her kit and her kit overall. I do think Glory is really strong, but I don't think it's insane. You have to fully build it, and then it's just like, yeah, it's pretty good. So I think she's a pretty good A tier frame. I have to build her around, change her around a little bit more to be like fully comfortable, because I think I didn't want to throw a lot of that on, but aerodynamics, right? More damage reduction in the air, keeping that on. I could throw on a couple other things, swap it around, but I like her general set I have for her. She's a pretty good frame, and I enjoyed using her when I was using her. Next up, okay, we have Korra Prime. Dun, dun, dun. Right, Korra Prime. She has a good kit, but I'd say you have to like it. There's a couple of things you can do. You can have your, like, your Strangle Dome Whip Claw build, your augmented Strangle Dome Whip Claw. I don't really care about Ensnare, but it's not terrible because it, like, groups people. You know, Venari is pretty interesting, but base Venari is just like, yeah, whatever, kind of a gimmick, you know? Her main kit setup is slapping the shit out of people with Whip Claw, and then Strangle Doming them and getting Pilfering Strangle Dome because you can get more loot. So, yeah, when you throw on some of her augments, she gets a lot better, right? Venari dies in Korra's place, respawn timer increase 150 seconds, killing enemies. So if you want to, you can also have an augment on to make her a little bit more invincible, but your cat dies. I've never been a huge fan of Korra, but Korra is very strong, and she is really nice. Okay. Yeah, like ensnare and stuff like that, some CC works on disruption targets, so it really helps there. But that is also one of those really, really niche things for just CCing and disruption. I would put her on as an A tier Warframe. I personally don't love her, and you could probably throw her on S tier if you do, but she's A tier because A, her damage is really high. B, she has really good like AoE CC in general, and you can get more loot out of her, right? So she's a fucking good frame, okay? But y'all need to remember, there are 57 motherfucking frames in this game, okay? So it is quite the large game. There are so many frames, right? Usually out of 57 characters, you're gonna like approximately like a quarter of them. So yeah, she's never a frame I spent a ton of time on, but she works well for what she does. She's maybe less mobile of a frame because you'd prefer to keep Strangledome up and Whip Clawing, but it all helps. So yeah, good frame, good frame, good frame. Think of it like this. If you practiced every frame for 1 hour, that would take most people weeks because that'd be 57 hours of gameplay. This game is huge, okay? You gotta really pick and choose where you're going for. Ooh, I really like Komei. A lot of people didn't like Komei because like her kit's not the strongest inherently and it's kind of goofy. But I really like Komei. So her first ability, I wish it had much longer duration, like legitimately double that fucking duration, please, for the love of God. I don't wanna spam this fucking ability, Jesus Christ. Yeah, she's not a high tier frame. I love her though. So this ability, dear God, I wish they'd just fucking increase it. Her annoyingness is the fact that she rolls dice to depend on how much damage she has. So obviously that just sucks. And every 60 seconds, your weapon does random status effect. Hey, fucking cool. Her first ability is a status. Her second ability is a Duviri Decree, which you get enough Warframe Duviri Decrees. If you use Komei long enough, she's pretty much a god because of decrees. Take Duviri mechanics outside of Duviri, and if you feel like doing a long run, she's pretty godly, right? Your third ability, it's good and bad. It's a heal and block, but only at a 50% chance, but it also has a cooldown, so it's like not reliable, and that really sucks. So what the fuck, man? What the fuck? Okay, it's annoying. And then her fourth ability is also pretty cool, but it's like nothing amazing. It's a strong AoE damage and CC. We haven't seen anything like not like it in the game before. It can do really shit damage if you low roll, but it can do pretty high, like really high damage if you high roll. So that is the annoying thing about her, is that it's such a pain in the butt, high rolling and low rolling sometimes. But hey, she does a lot of statuses. If you like her kit, she is fun to play. And if you last for a really long survival, or if you plan to do a long mission, she becomes a god because of Duviri. So she is a gimmick frame, okay? She is a gimmick frame. Overall, her kit is probably B tier. If you really like Duviri, if you're really doing long missions, if you really like building up those decrees, you can look at her as a default like S tier or an A tier frame. But if you just do short missions quickly, she's kind of mid, so she'd be more of like a D or a C tier. But overall, her kit's strong enough. It's not invincible, and you have to play around her annoying survivability, but she still has better survivability than some other frames, and I enjoy her overall kit. I'd still throw her in B tier, and just have to agree that she is a very situational and weird Warframe, okay? Like, goddamn is she an odd one. So, good for her. Good for her. But she's still a weird one. Oh yeah, next up everybody, we have Lavos. No, just kidding, we have Kurlevo first. Kurlevo and then Lavos. So Kurlevo is awesome. I really love his kit. I think I'm gonna throw him on as an S tier Warframe. So it's a specific kit, but I really like it, and I think it's really insane. Your first ability is you just teleport and assassinate someone because it gives your melee such an insanely high boost to crit. Okay, not bad. Or you can just teleport away. It's legitimately a teleport. So it's not the best, but it's good for hitting like Xmas units, right? Your second ability is essentially you're invulnerable because you keep overguarding. So you AoE dagger people and it overguards you. So it's pretty insane, and that is your main survivability invincibility mechanic on Kurlevo. Along with your third ability, okay, that's right, he has two survivability mechanics. This one binds enemies and they suffer all the damage, okay? So it chains all of their damage together. Sorry, this one's not the survivability one. I don't know why I said that. So essentially, you chain all the enemies together, you beat the shit out of them, and they all share the damage. So your single target melee becomes that's right, a CC murderous nuke melee. It's really freaking good. It just shoots it out in front of you, so you have to, if you maybe build CC over using something else, like a CC grouping ability, if you have a Vauban in your group, Nidus, stuff like that, awesome. He's a really good frame, and I would highly recommend him to anyone who likes strong melee overguard warframes. Your fourth ability, Storm of Ukko, is actually, it's a strong ability. It's just a boring ability. So you might want to swap it out if you don't like using it, right? It is a strong AoE slash. That's it. That's it. It is a really strong AoE slash attack. It stays in the area. Think of it like a blizzard, if you will, but instead of frost blizzard, instead of ice, it's knives, right? He's a cool frame. He does a ton of damage. You all can also get Wrath of Ukko for like more moving around your fourth ability. I just don't think this is necessary or anything useful. Adaptation, I'd probably throw on Rolling Guard because I love Rolling Guard. I need to keep throwing on Rolling Guard. Don't worry about it. Krulavo's a great Warframe, man. Malevolent Shrine, too strong. I would always throw him on S tier, okay? It is kind of a trend of most newer frames will more so go on S tier because newer frames get more overtuned, right? And they end up being a lot better. Warframe's able to do a lot more in the evolution engine, the game of Warframe, since like 11 years ago because it's been developed for 11 years. So it just kind of makes sense, right? It just kind of makes sense. And yeah, daily reminder, everyone, if you're enjoying, remember to sub, like, check out YouTube, Twitch, all the social medias. Thank you. And we continue on. Now, we're talking about Lavos, another elemental warframe, the king of elements. Oh, nice. I had my open party. Welcome, dude. Welcome. Oh, let me leave that. I didn't actually realize I was an open party. Nah, you can stand. I don't give a shit. Now, we have Lavos. And the overall kit of Lavos, I don't really like, okay? You have Ophidian Bite, but you have to select the statuses of it, right? That's the thing I hate about this game is Lavos is the hold to imbue for Toxin. So you can do any element on Lavos. You can throw on all the Archon shards. Your second ability, I like this ability. It runs forward and just does AoE. And then you have to imbue your abilities, right? Okay. Your third ability is a little orb that essentially does what your second ability does. But it does damage. You get some sweet loot pickups. And yeah, it turns things into universal ammo pickups. Okay. And then you have Catalyze. Okay. You have Catalyze, which is just AoE damage again. All his kit is legitimately AoE damage. All his fucking kit is. And the worst part about it is it's not high amounts of AoE damage. It is low amounts of AoE damage. So obviously the best thing about him is the fact that you can choose all of the elements that you want to hit enemies with. I just don't think that's a fun and interesting gimmick. Your efficiency, your status duration, all of this is here. More duration gives you more status duration. Efficiency works with like cooldown reduction. But like, man, I just do not love Lavos. You get Swift Bite and you get more range, but yeah, you don't really need much energy regen because of Lavos. But I just don't love his kit. For me, and y'all might hate this, I throw Lavos on a D tier. He is a D tier Warframe for me, okay? I will explain why. He is really good if you like his kit. He is a fucking D tier Warframe for me. I hate how long his entire setup of his kit takes. That's why he is a D tier Warframe. I hate him so much. I actually hate Lavos. Having to constantly imbue all of your abilities 24/7 and then casting them is just such unfun gimmick mechanic for me that I find him just a waste of time Warframe. So he's D tier for me. This one, I'm whipping out the personal D tier Warframe. I hate Lavos. For most people, he's probably a B tier Warframe. For me, he is a D tier Warframe, okay? He is my hate. I hate him. So yeah, Lavos, huge not fan of him. His gimmick is not fun, and it's like anti-fun for me. So he is an enemy of the Pupsker nation. He is the enemy of the Pupsker state. He is not my friend. Oh god, going to Lavos for Limbo is so funny, because Limbo is the exact same as Lavos in the sense that he is really good and enjoyable if you like his kit and if you work around his kit. But if you hate Limbo's kit, holy shit, he is the worst Warframe. Oh my god, he is such a pain in the butt. He is the exact same situational Warframe as Lavos like that. If you really like his kit, oh my god, he's really good. You jump between the rifts, you do damage to enemies, you meme the shit out of them, right? It's great. But if you hate using that and working around the kit, he is D tier as well. That's the thing. Limbo is a very situational Warframe. Most of your party hates Limbo because people don't like playing around the Rift gameplay of Limbo and being forced into that gameplay. So Limbo is also a D tier Warframe just like Lavos because he is a very situational styled Warframe, and in public play, Limbo is so generationally hated across the game that it's absolute insanity. Holy shit. But if you overall like using the abilities like stasis, jumping between the two realms of reality, if you like that, right, like that's not bad. You got your augments, you like using more damage, right? Like you'll do more damage, more duration, maximum health restoration. Nothing really super amazing. He is just an odd Warframe, so yeah, he's just one of those really, really odd Warframes, so he'll have to go on D tier as well. It is what it is, and it's just a goofy frame. That's why whenever they have like really niche type of Warframes, I don't know why I typed that in, it's always kind of hit or miss. Now, after Limbo, we have Loki Prime. Loki Prime, whatever. Loki suffers the same as a lot of Warframes suffer when they were made years ago, okay? In like the early ages of Warframe, is their kit is basic, their kit is kind of weak, and it's kind of lame as shit. So a lot of what Warframe ended up doing is they made augments to fix how shitty old Warframes were instead of reworking them. So that's kind of why augments seem like, oh, sometimes they make an ability like what it should have been, and that means you have to use up a whole mod slot to make a Warframe actually usable. Okay, Deceptive Bond, nothing amazing. Irradiating Disarm, I'd say that's one of the better ones. AoE radiation status on Radial Disarm. Yeah, I would say that his Radial Disarm is one of his better abilities overall, for sure. Right, you have Safeguard Switch, which is kind of shitty. You have Savior Decoy, right? Which is actually not bad. If you die, this is probably one of the better augments, right? If you die, you swap places with the decoy, and the decoy suicides essentially, right? Like Loki's interesting. He's a very interesting Warframe. You have decoy to like take damage off. I have some goofy damage reflection status reflected, but with like damage decoy, it's nothing too serious. You just get more damage, you know? He has invisibility, which is what I only use him for. I don't care for Loki. You have switch teleport, which is just switch with an enemy, which is pretty useless in the grand scheme of Warframe. Okay, and you have Radial Disarm, which is his, without a doubt, aside from his stealth, his best ability because it disarms enemies and then you can just kill them. The issue is like you don't really need to do that most games because you'll just kill enemies. So I don't know, the CC just kind of needs more to it, and that's when you throw on stuff like Irradiating Disarm, right? Loki is a very niche frame, and he suffers from all of the stuff he does. Other Warframes can just kind of do better. I would throw him either C or D. This day and age, I'll throw him as a C tier Warframe because like his stealth is still really awesome and Radial Disarm can be good. It's just like, goddamn, I just don't like his kit overall. So, you know, we'll throw him as a C tier frame. We'll throw him as a C tier, but he could go D tier as well. So, love him, hate him, I don't know. We'll keep it going on. Oh, you guys didn't expect a biased tier list? Every tier list is biased, dummies. You're learning, and that's okay. This is the tier list for the strongest Warframes. And situationally, Loki will just never be strongest. It is what it is. But I'm going to still throw him on C because guess what? I rate his invisibility higher than I rate anything else on Lavos kit. I would rate Lavos lower than Loki because Loki has invisibility and Lavos doesn't. So get absolutely wrecked, Lavos. Shit tier garbage frame. Destroy him. Now we have Nova. Oof. Now we have Nova. No, we have Mag. Wait. Yeah, that's Mag. Okay, now we have Mag. Mag Prime, Mag. It's a good frame. Mag's a pretty good frame. Okay. So you have Pull. Overall, it's like whatever, right? Pull's kind of, it's nice for just CC. But Magnetize, that's where that good stuff is, okay? That's where that good stuff is. You got Magnetize for just high damage or high protection, whichever you're really going for. Yeah, Loki was one of the first frames. He was just stealth frame. That's why his kit's so bare bones and lame. But he has stealth. Magnetize really good. Polarize also really good. If you just want to do damage, Mag's nice like that with CC. Crush, by default, it is kind of whatever, but now that it adds shield on hit, you have armor reduction with some good mods. I think Mag's really good. She's a really strong Warframe now. I think they may have done like some small rework stuff. Like a little bit, but I can't fully remember exactly what they did. But nowadays, she's a lot more usable. Greedy Pull is pretty useless, so I wouldn't bother using that. Magnetized Discharge is actually like not the worst at all if you feel like using that, but it's not for me. But I like Fracturing Crush for just CC, and then I like Counter Pulse for more CC. Oh, this is Armor Shred, sorry, and then this one for more CC. Overall, I think Mag's a really good Warframe. I don't think... A lot of people like really love her and have been throwing Mag around in like S tier, so it's always really funny. I would still say, depending on if you like her kit, she's like a B to an A tier Warframe these days. She has good survivability with her 4 once you get some augments on it. She has really good damage. She has survivability just base with her 1 ability, I think. It's because you just, you know, don't get hit. Yeah, she's a good frame. She's really strong. You really have to like her kit, and I don't like love her kit, but she is a really strong Warframe right now. So... yeah, she's just like one of the Warframes where you're probably going to be like maybe a little bit more stationary, depending on how you feel like playing her. You just throw your abilities on the ground. But I don't play enough Mag, so really cool frame. Really cool frame. Now we have Mesa Prime. Mesa Prime. Look at that Whip Claw. It's just Warframe bugs when you hit like Korra, because you get the Whip Claw stuff. So now we have Mesa Prime. Let's take a look, right? She is the gunslinger extraordinaire. Ballistic battery if you feel like doing a lot of damage, but overall it's a stupid ability and I very much dislike it. It's like it's just high gun damage. Her shooting gallery is really good. It jams nearby enemies' guns and it gives like ally extra damage. Yeah, damage buff and CC because it jams guns. Then you have Shatter Shield, which is really good DR at like 95%. And you can swap it around and, you know, add the augment. And then your 4th ability, Peacemaker, which is also a great weapon. Oh yeah, my build's shit. It's a meme. Don't worry about it. I don't use Mesa, as you can tell. If you guys don't look too much into meme builds, but hey. Then you have Peacemaker, which is just good damage. Overall, for most of Mesa, I just eat on duration and strength. And that's it. You just do a fuck ton of damage, you whip out your guns, and you kill the shit out of people. Realistically, probably should add some more range so it's less annoying to hit a lot of people, because range makes it so you do way more FOV and you're able to hit a ton more people. So hey, not bad at all. She is a really good Warframe. I would throw her on A tier. I don't think she is an S tier Warframe. I think she's kind of like power crept, and her kit's overall kind of boring, but she is pretty great. You just stand there, activate your abilities, and shoot everything, okay? So she is really nice. You have your regulators, and they do a ton of damage. Obviously, I have to swap things out, add some more if I feel like it. But overall, this is the little build I have on right now. right? So she's a strong frame, but she can be cooler. I will still throw her on as an A tier Warframe. You can throw her on B tier if you hate her kit, of course, because she is a like boring turret kit. Hey, thank you for the Twitch Prime Red Vendetta. Thank you. So hey, love it, hate it, yeah, judge her as you will. That is Mesa. Mesa Prime. Look at that. Why is everyone will pull out the Korra whip? They love it. No, I like throwing on the Korra general set. Oh, Mirage Prime. Mirage, haven't seen her in a while. I think overall, Mirage is pretty great. Okay, you have Hall of Mirrors, Sleight of Hand for explosives. You have Eclipse for a ton of damage. And then you have Prism for like blinding people as it just shoots around the room. She's awesome. I really like Mirage myself. Huge fan of Mirage, okay? Huge fan. She is a good frame. With Hall of Mirrors, you just add on a ton of doppelganger damage. And then you throw on Hall of Malevolence. You throw on your Malevolent Shrine. Mwah, okay? Love her. She has a good kit, and then you even get more augments, right? Total Eclipse, and whatever. Explosive Ledge Main, okay. If you feel like doing explosive damage, hell yeah. And then you have Prism Guard, which it follows around you, so it blinds enemies in the AoE sense, right? Oh, not bad, not bad. Okay, okay. Not too shabby. And then look at that, Hall of Malevolence, just more damage every time you kill everything. So there's a lot of different style of builds you can go for, and she just overall does really good damage. So I don't think, I think it takes like a lot of time to get some of the mods to build her up, but other than that, yeah, I'd throw her on an A tier frame. Oh, love her, love her. Just, mwah. You got your Malevolence. Oh no, yeah, got your Malevolent Shrine, like, oh. What a beautiful Warframe, okay? What just a lovely frame. You clone yourself, you start killing all the enemies, and then you just fucking destroy everyone. So, your domain expansion shit's just too OP. I love it. Either way, that's Mirage Prime. Well, Mirage Prime. Now we have Necros. Looking at Necros here. Oh god, it's fun watching people cry. People are very salty. Now, Necros. I don't know if you can tell. I don't play much Necros. I never play Necros, right? Revive them with health. Soul Survivor, get that out of here. Creeping Terrify, not bad if you want to slow enemies down. You have Shield of Shadows. More damage. Oh god, make your freaking shadows take the damage. Man. Necros is a cool frame. I don't really care about him. And his overall ability set is just like meh. He has cool CC with Terrify. And getting armor reduction on that is also really nice. So that's a cool ability. Terrify's good. Desecrate right there. Extra loot. That's right. That's why Desecrate's so awesome. And Necros is so awesome. And then, like, Shadows of the Dead are cool to CC off enemies, but overall, like, the Shadows and Summons aren't generally amazing in a lot of games. You can always build anything to be godly. That's how Warframe works, but base kit of Necros, he's, like, D tier. Like, Necros is... Actually, you could definitely throw him C tier, because he has a good armor shred and Terrify. The issue is he's, like... He has no good abilities outside of his second ability. I just don't think these abilities are great, okay? They're just not great. Oh my god, why is everyone calling me? One sec. Yeah, so I'd legitimately just put him C tier because he has a CC and armor shred, which is better than all of Lavos' kit combined. So like, oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. But like Necros kind of sucks. His kit's lame. He's mainly used as a loot goblin, which is, you know, he's loot goblin A tier frame. So yeah, either way, yeah, I'd throw him in C. He's kind of like whatever. He's a pretty D tier frame, but hey, when a Warframe has AoE, CC, and armor shred, he's already better than a boring frame. Either way, Necros is pretty cool if people prefer him. I just, you know, I never will. He's just a boring loot frame to me. And now that I'm endgame Warframe, I don't care about loot frames. Hey, Nezha. So Nezha has a pretty interesting overall kit. Very fun. Run around, do damage, fire enemies, right? Blazing Chakram for some invulnerability. Or no, not invulnerability. That's on your third warding halo. I got them mixed up. This one just damage vulnerability and hits enemies, and you get more loot drops. Well, orb drops, right? Then you have your warding halo, which is very nice. And that's the 3 seconds vulnerability. It has absorption multiplier. It kind of works, I think, the same as Rhino in that regards. The idea, you absorb damage for those first 3 seconds, and then that turns that into a little protective ring. Yeah, Nezha's pretty cool. And then you have 4th ability, which is AoE CC. And then if you turn on Divine Retribution, which is this augment right there, you just do more damage. Spreads, does more damage, spread statuses. I have Nezha built for just like kind of running around using my 4th ability. So he's a pretty cool Warframe, but I don't think he's insane comparative to these days in the meta of Warframe, but he still does a lot of damage when you throw on like some Divine Retribution. Oh fuck, he has so many goddamn augment mods. Yeah, if you want to do a lot of damage, I guess the Reaping Chakra mod, if you want to use that. Your Firewalker damage, Pyroclastic Flow, I don't really use it. But hey, Safeguard Warding Halo on allies, most people probably wouldn't use that. That control slide just sucks. And then, yeah, like, love or hate Nezha. I think Nezha is like a pretty good Warframe. Can use him pretty solidly for survivability. It really depends how much you love or hate Nezha. I've fallen out of liking playing Nezha more as of late. I used to play him way more early on or like mid game. Then I just stopped falling out of favor. I'll still throw Nezha onto B tier. I think he's a good frame that you could throw on higher into like A tier if you really enjoy playing Nezha. Good CC, good damage overall, and good survivability. So I'm not by any means mad at Nezha's kit. So yeah, love it. Next up, everybody, Nidus Prime. Nidus is actually a really good Warframe, but it has an annoying... Nidus has a very annoying mechanic that you actually have to keep up with, okay? That is the annoying thing about Nidus. So Nidus has good CC with... Is it Larva? Yeah. He has a really good CC with Larva. It pulls everyone in at not the highest range, but still a really good range. The issue with Nidus is, Nidus, as you can see, has 0 shield, but has a good survivability mechanic with like virulence. You have to essentially CC all of the enemies together and then hit them with virulence. It increases and refunds energy if you hit enough, and then you're essentially invincible as long as you start stacking up your virulence enough, because that's your passive. If you are killed with at least 15 stacks of mutation, that's what it is. You stack up mutation with virulence. Blah, blah, blah. Those 15 stacks are consumed, 5 seconds invulnerability, and you restore some health. So he is a really strong, cool Warframe, but more situational sometimes, because you have to get a ton of enemies together, and you have to start stacking up your mutation. And then once you do, it increases damage of your virulence and everything. You also have Parasitic Link, which works really well to increase damage off and get some buffs going. Not bad, not bad. And you can use the Sacrificial Lamb for the Parasitic Link, and they take more damage. So it's, you know, another survivability mechanic. And then you have your 4th ability, which is Ravenous, which is like a pretty cool AoE area, okay, where you just regen a ton of health and enemies take more damage because like maggots and stuff. So it's essentially your domain expansion. You hide out here and you chill. I agree. Nidus is best in general, like any endless mission where you can just stand in one spot, you can just CC the shit out of the enemies, you stack your first ability, you can stack this up incredibly fast, like, whew. So I like his kit, but at the same time it can be annoying because you'd want to generally stay always around your Ravenous so you have better health regen, right? You always want to have an enemy parasitically linked so you don't die as fast, just in case. Probably, ideally, you know, a ton of armor. Want to build up your armor a little bit, and health because he is a health and armor Warframe. So then, yeah, you just go from there. Adaptation's generally really strong on him. I just have a goofy ass build right now, so I think Nidus is really good. I liked him for a long time. I just stopped using him. Depending on what you like on him, I'd throw him as an A tier Warframe. Fuck it. I really like Nidus for a while. He's no S tier, and he's probably a B tier Warframe for a lot of people, but I really liked him for a while. I thought his general kit is pretty fun. So if you like playing around his kit, that's the issue with a lot of Warframes sometimes. Like Nidus, you have to play around his kit. If you don't like his kit, he's as good as D tier for you, right? which is always the issue with this game. If you don't like how annoying a kit's Warframe is to play, then you definitely have to deal with that. So, yeah, cool, good Warframe. Now, let's talk about the next frame, which is Nova, I think. Is it finally Nova? Nova has a really good kit now, especially since she's been upgraded and updated a little bit. Because she's like 10 times better than Lavos, I know, right? Whew. So, Nova's pretty cool. You have some good null star damage reduction. Not bad, not bad, not too shabby. You have antimatter drop, which is actually now a lot of damage. You build it up by shooting into it. Okay, it does a ton more damage. Wormhole sucks. Okay, and next up, so always Helminth off Wormhole, we have Molecular Prime, which is really good. Increases enemies' damage taken. You can either fully freeze them, or you can make them go really fast, so you can just hide into a corner and kill the shit out of enemies. She's one of the best Warframes if you're trying to do fast farming, because of how Molecular Prime works, right? So, hey, she's really good. Her passive's nice, low orbs. You have more general orb drops if you use her kit. She has a lot of augment mods like Neuron Star. Not bad, not bad. Fire damage, not good enough. You have antimatter absorb, and it absorbs enemy bullets, not just yours. And then you have escape velocity, which is fucking useless. And I myself have molecular fission, okay? It's pretty much enemies restore null star charge and they have 100%, essentially, so I never have to recast as much null star. And yeah, you just kill everyone. I like her. I think she's a really strong Warframe generally, and you could probably throw her on S tier if you really like her kit. I think she's solidly an A tier Warframe. She just has a good kit. With her going speedy, you could even throw that as like S tier because like everyone gets to you faster. You'll increase the amount of damage that you and everyone end up doing. Or sorry, not the damage. You end up, well, you do because it's more overall damage. But you get more loot because everyone runs to you faster and then they spawn faster. You kill them faster, right? Because that's how Warframe works, right? The more you kill, the more loot you get, the more stuff, the more happiness. So, not bad. Now we have to look at Nyx, I think. Ooh, I think Nyx is the next up. Nyx Prime. God, I really like the skin on Nyx. So, I playing Nyx. Not a Nyx player at all. Messed around with her a little bit, but she is a strong frame, I think. Now, if you like her kit, it's just like every frame could be better. Her first ability is just mind control, so you just take over enemies. Pretty simple stuff, right? Your second ability, Psychic Bolt, it has a defense reduction, so at least there's that. But it is one of those abilities that you'd have to be shooting around way more. I think they're gonna rework Nyx, right? She's the next one to get reworked a bit. And then like Chaos is interesting, right? Mass Hysteria confuses enemies at a pretty good radius at that. And then they just attack people randomly. And then you have Absorb, which is like, it's kind of like her worst ability. It's good, but it's bad. If you need some invulnerability, you just yeet it on and then you're invincible. You absorb the damage and then you shoot it back out to enemies. So I think honestly, the idea behind her kit is actually good. I think the idea behind her kit is strong, right? Like you have CC, you have mind control CC, you have armor reduction, and then you have like AoE exploding. But I don't think Absorb quite works well enough for a lot of people. It does have a good explosion radius, but it only maxes out at 50 meters, so more range doesn't help. I still think like the issue with Absorb as well is like enemies don't do a ton of damage to it. So anything that relies a little bit on enemies doing a ton of damage, it's like, well, you have to wait until it's like higher level for it to be better. I don't know, man. Nyx is a weird frame. And it's also boring just waiting on 4 for Absorb, so... Okay, wait, I got you, buddy. So, you know, not bad. Not bad. I don't know. I've never really played enough of Nyx. And I don't really love Nyx, right? I would probably right now throw her on if you like playing her. She doesn't have anything amazing, but yeah, you could throw her C or D. I just don't care for her at all. So she will go along with all of the other D tier Warframes because I've put like no time into her. I just don't care about her. And honestly, like I don't like her kit. Psychic Bolt would probably be good if it hit more enemies. And then her fourth ability could be better if it built damage better. But yeah, there you go, buddy. Nexon's the same tier as Lavos. So there you go. Not bad, not bad. Now, that's Nyx. Now we have Oberon. So Oberon's just an old shitty frame. That's just kind of how that is. He's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. Right? Like, that's not bad. Oberon Prime's pretty cool. He's just an old shitty frame. So it is what it is. Now we can throw your boy on Oberon onto D tier. He's just an old boring frame. He has AoE armor reduction. It's just like, meh, takes too long. I don't like massing and hidden reckoning. It's kind of annoying. Renewal, in theory, it's pretty good, but it's just like some annoying health defenses, shield regen. You know, you got Hollowed Ground. That's pretty cool, but it's just like AoE. And then you have Smite, which is like, eh. No one ever really plays Oberon. I just don't think anyone ever just cares about him. I'm gonna throw him on his D tier because he's a forgotten Warframe. I think his overall kit could work decently enough. You have armor shred on your 4, but apart from that, I just don't like him a lot. There you go. Okay, give me a sec. Oh, we're looking at Oberon. Yeah, I'm gonna keep him D tier. I think he's pretty cool if you like his kit. He's just so old and boring now, and I don't know like how slow reckoning is. I just end up using other things. There we go, fun times. So, Oberon. Now, oh my god, the next one. Holy shit, I love the next one so much. Octavia Prime. Oh, so Octavia. Octavia's kit is so boring. Oh my god. It's so boring, but it's so good. Like, it's so annoying how good it is and how boring it is. Like, it's broken but boring. I hate it so much, but she's S tier. It pisses me off. Like, she's D tier. This is like Lavos, right? Everyone's loving Lavos. This is like Lavos for me, right? D tier if you hate the kit so much and it's just such a boring kit. S tier because, dear God, she's so insane. I'm throwing her S tier because I enjoy playing her once in a while. But the idea of her kit is you just throw down her abilities and then you just stay invisible and you just like go around killing people, or you just hide the whole game. She's just a boring Warframe because her entire kit is passive, essentially. You throw it down and then you leave it alone. So she's insane, but man, I just don't care. You hit 1, 2, 3, 4. You mash control, so you crouch and you're invincible. Okay, she's pretty awesome, but she's just so boring. But hey. Oh, Protea Prime. I love Protea Prime. So Protea is my fave, my girl. Love her. Turret damage, grenade fan. Oh, okay. You just do AoE damage and then really good turret shield gate stuff. Oof. Turret damage, awesome. Love it. Okay. Dispensary so that you have constant loot. Oh my god. And temporal anchor. So you can just like go hide back if you get low on health, or you can throw on the augment and it can armor shred. Mwah. Amazing. So she has really good survivability, good armor shred, and good damage overall. Armor shred once you get the actual augment though. So yeah, she's pretty A tier Warframe, I would say. As much as she's my favorite, I just don't think she's an S tier Warframe. I just don't think she is. Because you need to get her augment so that she can start doing armor shred, but her base kit is really good damage, heat damage, slash damage, shield, and support. So she's really good with the general teamwork of the game as well. She's a good solo frame for sure, but she's a really good team frame. So she is a much better team frame as well. So I don't know, love her, hate her. I think she's an A tier frame. I just don't think she belongs in S tier. She doesn't have enough damage. She doesn't have an initial armor shred to be S tier or anything like that. But hey, I still think she's really good. Still think she's really good. Maybe if like she initially had more armor shred, she could go S tier and just more damage, but hey, that's okay. I really love Protea. She's my favorite personally. Now, next up, after Protea, we have Corvix. Ooh, Corvix is decent, but I don't love him personally. He does, if you want to build him for it, you can do a fuck ton of damage between your pillars and like Crucible Blast. But he is definitely a stationary defense Warframe, which it's very situational. Most of Warframe, you're not too stationary. Most of Warframe, okay? But hey, so he has good damage with his pillars, and if you hit him, they do more. Cool. He has an interesting second ability. It has damage vulnerability, but not a ton. Okay, but you have to hit it. Your third ability, I actually totally forgot this one existed. I don't know how I forgot this one, but it's really good. It's some area damage, but hey, you get like status chance immunity, and then it builds back up. I totally forgot about that. So it's a good defensive ability. And then you have Crucible Blast, which is like decent damage. You hit your pillars and it chain does a ton of damage between your pillars. I think more enemies in your pillars equal more damage. So Corvex is pretty cool. I think he is a strong frame if you like his defensive build setup. But overall, I don't find him like super fun, but he is a good strong frame. We are putting him in B tier right now. And, you know, I think he's pretty decent. I think he's pretty decent. He's a nice frame. He's a nice frame. Next up, we have Revenant. Dear God, Revenant. Everyone knows Revenant, okay. He is a fan for so many. Revi Prime, everybody. Revenant's a very interesting one because a lot of people only use him for his invulnerability on Mesmer Skin. So he's really, really interesting, okay? Because he's just straight up invulnerable. He's invincible pretty much. His first ability, it's good, bad. It takes over enemies and you do more damage to them. So another like forced friendship type enemy ability. And you have Reeve, which instantly pretty much kills any of your allied enemies. You know, it has some health drain, but you don't really need that stuff. And then you have his fourth ability, which is, if you're pretty lazy, a decent enough amount of damage, and if you have a lot of people enthralled, it's a lot of damage. The issue with him is he's more of like he's really good for one ability, okay? Like, and that's Mesmer Skin. Everyone only calls him S tier because of Mesmer Skin. So that's why I don't think he really belongs Mesmer Skin or like a S tier. I think he's S tier on just survivability. But like his overall kit is A tier for me, you know? Because like he's just invincible. So if you're just looking to never die, he's S tier. But if you want to use a lot of his abilities, he might be A tier. I still think he'll kind of go in S tier for me because I'm a lazy dude. I like just throwing on Mesmer Skin and being lazy. And I also like using Dance Macabre. It is a really strong ability until you reach higher levels. So he's such a weird one. We'll keep him in S tier because of how stupid Mesmer Skin is, but he's an odd one in regards to all of his kit being outshined by one godly immortality ability. I still play a ton of him because sometimes you just don't care about dying and you just want to test and use weapons, right? And that's like, yeah, that's kind of funny. That next up, we have like Rhino and then Revenant. Some really beefy tanky frames are all under like the R. Now we have Rhino Prime. So what does everyone think about Rhino? I don't think Rhino's S tier or anything. He's definitely fallen off now that we've gotten more survivability and the helmet. So he has a really good set of abilities. Iron Skin's really nice. And if you only build for Iron Skin, you can get damage cap stupid levels of numbers. But you can just throw on Revenant, which is always the issue. Rhino Charge is a shit ability. Roar is an insanely good ability because it's just you and your team damage buffs. Awesome. Rhino Stomp is good CC, but you don't really need it, you know? That's always the issue with certain CCs. It takes a little bit too long to cast, and you could kill things a lot faster. So, yeah, he has a lot of augments because he is an old frame, right? Piercing Roar for AoE CC, it's already better than Rhino Stomp. Makes Rhino Stomp kind of useless for me, but hey. Ironclad Charge, if you're going for a tanky armor Rhino, hell yeah, go for it, man. Iron Shrapnel, I don't personally like it. Blowing up Iron Skin for damage, meh. Reinforced Stomp, okay. Increase Iron Skin health if you want to go for one of the builds where you have insane Iron Skin and then you restore it with your fourth ability. Yeah, that's not that bad. I'm just pretty boring. I've yeeted on, I think, nothing for my Rhino. No augments. Just base Rhino, just chilling. He's a really good frame. And his helmet ability is one of the better ones, okay? So he generally can go anywhere from, he belongs now solidly in a B tier, okay? Because there's just every other Warframe kind of starts outscaling him now. If this was 5 years ago, if Revenant didn't exist, if there weren't more fun survivability options, I would probably put Rhino higher. But over the years, Rhino's survivability is just lost. He's still pretty amazing for general survivability early and mid game. It's just like, he's great. You can always just build his overguard a ton. I just hate how many of his abilities seem like they're wasted. It's always the issue with Warframes is like half of their kit seems like dog shit and then the other half seems godly. And that's Rhino. He has 2 godly abilities that are supported by 2 shitty abilities. And like the Iron Skin isn't even godly by default because you have to really specifically build for that. Whereas you have Revenant and he just hits abilities and he's invincible, right? So yeah, but as always, remember, guys, this is Warframe. You can do whatever you want and play whatever you want. And with the helmet, you have such a large amount of options now in the game that anything can just shred, if you like it. That's kind of what Warframe is. There's 57 Warframes. Play what you like. Don't waste your time hating playing a game, or else you're just kind of a dumbass, right? Like, what kind of idiot plays a game they absolutely hate, you know? So, Rhino's great. I love him. I love him. Yeah, I don't like Gara. Now, next up, we have Sevagoth. Sevagoth is a very, very interesting frame. Okay? He's really good, and people really liked him for a long time. And now that Sevagoth Prime's out, people are very jazzed. So he is a strong, strong frame. You always throw Gloom on for AoE, and it just freezes everyone around you, lifesteal, and they die. You can sow people forward, you can reap them. You gotta reap what you sow, right? He's really good. And then you have your Exalted Shadow. A lot of people might not like the Exalted Shadow, but the Exalted Shadow also has a good build, right? He's pretty cool, right? You got Embrace. Whew, not bad. You've got Consume, some lifesteal. You got Death's Harvest, always good with damage, a little bit damage vulnerability. And then you have Reunite. So it's like, Sevagoth kind of has 3 abilities, and then a Shadow that has 3 abilities. So he has like 6 abilities. He's a really good frame overall. I don't really care for his kit too much nowadays. He was fun to play for a while. And I think overall, he could do more damage, right? It's just people really like him for Gloom. And, you know, people really like him for his Exalted Shadow. So he's a pretty A-tier frame for a lot of people, you know? Pretty A-tier frame. But maybe he's just a B-tier frame now. maybe he's just a B-tier frame, you know? Yeah. So he's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. But then, yeah, once you get augments, it gets a lot better, like with anything. Once you get some of those augments, you get more reap so, increased crit chance by, that's when you get Shadow's Haze. That's where he really pops off right there. So, whew, just so good. I have found out that a lot of like chat's stupid and they don't build for what they like. So chat can be NPCs sometimes, which is okay. That's why Warframe's a fun game. It's interesting to see how many people get pissed off or sad that you don't like to build how they like, but it's a good game. So Sevagoth for a lot of people would probably be like high A into S, because a lot of people really like Sevagoth. Now with Prime out, people are really playing him more. They probably would throw him more around A tier, but I don't know. He's just a chill Warframe now for me, so I'd throw him on B tier. He's really nice. You throw your Gloom on, you reap and sow enemies into death. It's pretty cool. He's a good frame, and I'd recommend him to most, if not everyone, in general, so. It's also fun seeing people look at some of my builds that are like not touched on, and then they're crying. They're like, what is this? My God. But chat's never introspective. Next up, we have Styanax. Oh, Styanax is really good. I don't like him a ton, but he's a really good frame. You have your little Javelin, you know? It has some decent CC. Your second ability with the DR is really nice. Rally Point's just good, because shield per kill is really nice. So then you're more invincible. Shield gate anything is just really nice. And then you have your final stand, which it used to be really cool because you used to spam your 4th ability and then you could fly into the air and do a fuck ton of damage. So Styanax is a really good frame. I think a lot of people stopped using him after a bit because like they just might not like his kit. This one's really nice, like more vortexes. I don't know. This one's really nice, like Intrepid Stand, right? Enemy grants Overguard, Styanax. Not bad. Not bad. I'm gonna still put your boy at A tier. He's a good, strong frame. I don't care for his kit. If you like his kit, maybe you'd put him at... Oh, did I skip a Saren? Okay. Maybe you'd put him at S tier. But like, I just don't love him a ton. But he's a good frame. He's for sure a good frame. Yeah, if this was chat's tier list, everything would be S to B tier. Nothing would be in C and D tier, sadly. That's the fun of chat frame. Wahaha. Oh yeah, I skipped Saren, 100%. There we go, 100%. Saren! I was like, I'm pretty sure I skipped someone. Huh, there it is, there it is. So we have Saren Prime. Saren's fucking awesome. So she is just the toxic frame where once, like you need to ramp her up, right? It takes not a ton of time. But generally, you gotta ramp her up. She's a pretty cool frame, pretty cool frame. This is my goofy ass build. I think pretty solidly, most people can throw her on S to A tier. You throw your spores on, and then you just let everyone die. I'd probably throw more strength on her, but I do have Molt augmented. But fucking A, you just eat Toxic Lash on forever. You use Molt for survivability if you need more so. You have Miasma. And spores just constantly spread. She's one of those Warframes that works good with everything. Like duration's nice on her, but you don't need a ton of it, right? But you do need range and strength primarily, with strength being the 100% main aspect of that. I don't play a ton of her kit. Contagion Cloud, I wouldn't say it's useless. Revealing Spores can be nice. And then Regenerative Molt, I don't think it's necessary, but it's still really good. I just put her overall as an S tier frame because she's similar to Octavia. Saren and Octavia have the same general kit idea of insane AoE and just chill. The difference is Saren's not invisible, whereas Octavia is invisible. But Saren's spores self-spread, you just hit 4 and it increases more damage, and then you just chill. So, yeah, not bad. Next up, we have... I think it's Trinity? No, maybe. Maybe. Let's find out. It is Titania, not Trinity. Trinity's after. Oh, Titania. Oh, God. I dislike Titania, but I like her for flying. She has augmented melee, and I think they're overall okay. I never bothered building them, as you can see. But the base stats on them, like, they're not bad. It could have more crit, but I don't think it's terrible or anything. And then you have her secondary weapon, which is also, I wouldn't say terrible. I hate it though because it doesn't have enough magazine and it just kind of eats through ammo. But the Dex Pixie damage overall, yeah, it's not the worst. It's not a crit weapon though, which makes me sad. So she is such a weird Warframe. I don't love her, but I don't hate her. I only use her for speedruns flying around the map. If you like her kit, she's a high tier. If you hate her kit, she's a low tier. And a lot of people don't care for her kit. Like Spellbind, you just yeet people around. Tribute, you have a bunch of different abilities, so it's like one of the cycling ones. Not terrible. You have Lantern, Swarm of Razor Flies. Whoo! And then you just have Razorwing flying around. She has a good kit overall. You definitely have to like her, but she has a overall good kit. I have definitely not had enough time with her to like properly judge the full breadth of her kit, but I don't fully love her. I always generally use her as a Razorwing Blitz throw around frame, but hey, I'll throw her in as B tier. She's pretty good. I like her. I just need to actually get time with her skills and try to see if I like her outside of speedruns. So that's all I end up using her on. So she's very like hit or miss. Very hit or miss making a railjack frame, it turns out. But she's pretty cool. Yeah, her turret guns are really strong. They're not high crit, but they're strong. But they just don't have enough ammo. Ooh, Trinity, God. Trinity, man. Trinity. So Trinity is really interesting and good, but she's like boring and slow and old. You can always do EV Trinity. She's overall thought of and looked at as like a support frame, right? Like health per second shenanigans, more energy vampire, so you just regen energy. You link up so that enemies take damage. Like her base kit's like whatever. And then you have restore on your 4. So she's really good, obviously. She's getting her mini rework soon enough, and we'll see if it's enough. Like reduces enemy, nah, lame. Champion's Blessing, probably one of her better ones for sure. So you'd want to do that on. But I just don't care for Trinity right now. She's really good. She's good at what she does if you like using her. Like her healing's really good. You can do whatever you want. Any game, any character can do level cap if you're bored enough. That's not really meaningful. She's a great frame, but she's boring. So, I'm gonna throw her on A tier. I'm gonna throw her, no, I'll throw her B tier because I don't like her enough. She's just like, she's really great, but she has a boring kit that a lot of people don't like using nowadays in Warframe. She's kind of like old Warframe. She's a very slow, stationary, chill frame, and people would much rather run around and nuke everything through the map at much faster speeds because it's Warframe. So just her general kit is more suited, I'd say, to like chill areas. Either way, hopefully they build her up to be really good, but she's still really good if you like her kit. Again, that's gonna be the general idea of this game. This is Warframe, it has 57 Warframes. Use your brain, play things you like, and don't be a dumb bear too much. But if you want to be a dumb bear, hey, fuck it, who cares, right? Next up, we have Valkyrie Prime. I don't play enough Valkyrie, but she is really good. You have, where's the invulnerability? Is it on your paralysis or is it on your 4th ability? I think it's on your 4th ability. But she has some invulnerability shenanigans on her. So her first ability sucks because it's just like a hook, like Rip Line. It just sucks by default. Her second ability is awesome because it increases armor and increases speed, like attack speed, right? And it even slows down enemies, so sweet. Her third ability, not bad, not bad. It is a fucking damage multiplier. It drains a quarter of your shield and it knocks back enemies. But it's a damage multiplier, so that's what really matters. I don't really use it that much. I don't think it's amazing though. It's pretty decent to like nuke through some low level enemies, because like the damage multiplier I think is based on just like your shield. Yeah, we don't talk about Ripline. I think her paralysis is decent enough though, for sure, because it works for like her kit. But yeah, I haven't used it enough, so I don't know how OP it can be. Then we have Hysteria, or Enraged. Damage increase, crit chance increased. Enraged is awesome, right? We have Eternal War. Man, not bad if you want Eternal War. It's actually really good because Warcry stays forever. Hysterical Assault, eh. Yeah, I think her 4th on cast gives her invulnerability, but I don't think you're invulnerable the entirety of your 4. I can't quite remember. Or it's just like, it increases the drain over time. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, okay, it does increase drain over time. That's what it does, yeah. Okay, but no, you're invincible with your 4, so it's pretty cool. She works really well with anything that can restore your energy, so maybe if you want to throw on an equilibrium down here, go for it. Throw on more efficiency, less efficiency. But I think since duration works as pseudo efficiency on her 4, you don't need a ton of efficiency. That's why I have 75. Okay. Yeah, she's a cool frame. She's a pretty cool frame, but she suffers kind of like from old kit. So if you like melee frame, you like her. If you don't like melee frame, you don't like her. She could pretty solidly go, depending on how you look at it, because she's invincible when you always use her, a 4th. But I just don't think her kit has enough utility for S. But I'll put her in A tier because melee shenanigans is just really good. You just hit your 4, you just kill everything, and you just go about your day. And then you can always just run away and regenerate your energy or use an ability. In the current meta of the game, and her being way less popular, I think for most people she would be B tier for sure. But I don't use her enough, so I probably as well will put her B tier. I like the idea of really strong melee frame, but I just never really care to use her, you know? Vauban. Oh, I like Vauban. I like Vauban. So he should be the next one, right? Because we go Valkyr into Vauban. So Vauban Prime. He is an unfortunate Warframe, man. He is such an unfortunate Warframe. I love his kit overall when I want to do some CC shenanigans, but like, fuck, people don't like him. The Telos Nervos do suck. Little balls that float around doing some CC, but like, eh. The second ability is pretty cool. Vector Pad kind of sucks. Overdriver kind of sucks. Okay. It's a small buff, but it kind of sucks. Tether Coil kind of sucks. And Fletched Orb's cool, but kind of sucks, right? It's like a shitty Protea tether. Like, Fletched Orb's like shitty Protea. Photon Strike just straight up sucks. It's like, doesn't do enough damage. Why would I use that? And then his fourth ability is good. He is like CC, and that's it. So he's just like, eh. His numbers on his second, if Overdriver was like 50 by default, it'd probably be a lot better. But like, man, I don't think he's amazing outside of CC. So he is a situational like C tier for me because I really love his CC. But outside of that, it's like, I only use him for like once in a blue moon CC. But yeah, if you love your boy, let me know. I'm kind of curious. Next up, we have Volt Prime. Okay, so we're gonna throw Volt in A tier. Volt could also probably pretty easily for a lot of people go S tier because he has a really strong shield. Because like you can pick it up and everything in front of you is invincibly not gonna hurt you. He has his second ability, Speed. Okay, because like I'll put him. Yeah, for me he has like an S tier frame. The only thing he needs is inherent shield gate regen. And then his fourth ability is like electric CC and everything. He's just so good, right? The only thing you really need to throw on in it is like fucking wherever I actually have my proper brief respite. That's all you really need. I just love his kit. I threw off his fourth ability because I didn't really want Shane electric CC. Instead, I just wanted more damage. So I think he's good. But I don't know. I want to put him in S, but I don't because I think he could use better general usability. He's just good because he's fast. And nowadays, there's a lot of just good because they're fast frames. So I'm going to keep him on A tier. I think he definitely deserves A tier. If he had like maybe a little bit more survivability or a little bit more ability damage, maybe he'd be more S tier. But I didn't like his inherent AoE CC on his fourth ability. I don't think it did enough, and it's more of like a good CC. But, you know, you don't always want CC. Either way, I think it's a really good frame. Volt's great. Everyone loves great. You can fucking solo anything in the star chart. This game's fucking easy, my dudes. Once you throw on Rolling Guard, a little bit of Shield Gate, throw mods on your guns, yeah, you're good, dog. You are good. So, there's Volt Prime. There is Volt Prime. Next up is Voruna. Damn. Voruna, man. So, Varuna's pretty cool. But Voruna has a very specific kit. Like, you got to use her entire kit together, or else she just kind of sucks a little bit. So, Shroud of Dinars, you're a cool stealth. And generally, you jump out of that, get a little bit of a small buff. But it's a big buff. But it's a small buff. Next up, you have Fangs of Raksh. Not bad. Ooh, okay, you know what? You're just too salty. Wait, watch this. Watch this. I'll see you tomorrow. You're too salty. So, not bad, though. Not bad. You just throw on your Shroud of Dinar. Remember to use Ulfrin's Descent. Make sure you have Fangs of Raksh. And Lyca's Hunt. Right, your third ability is your passive. You just always have that on. You gain more kills. Cool. Awesome. I like her kit. You definitely have to use her full kit, though. Right? Fangs of Raksh to spread more status. It's nice. It's been a while since I've played her a lot. Right? You definitely always want to be invisible and then go into and kill everyone with Ulfrin's Descent. I would say she's pretty cool, but I don't think she's S tier. I don't know. A lot of people are like, S tier, S tier. I'm like, no, I'd probably put her like A or B. Probably put her at A tier. But you need to like using her jumping around, status spreading, hitting everyone with abilities. So I'd put her in A tier for sure. That's where I think she kind of belongs right now. You could put her in B tier as well, though, for sure. So, yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Next up, we have, from Voruna, we have your girl, Wisp Prime. So Wisp Prime's an obvious instant A tier, or sorry, S tier, without a doubt. Which is not bad. You have whatever abilities. I have Brief Respite on for the meme when I don't feel like using my second ability. Yeah, she's just insane. Reservoirs is pretty much built-in Loki speed, health, speed, status on enemies. Like, fucking A, she's insane. Her second ability is Invulnerability. That's the only actual use for this is. If you use it as a mobility ability, sure, whatever. But the only actual use for this is just Invulnerability. Like, fucking double tap it, boom, 3 seconds, you're invulnerable. You can just double tap it whenever you feel like it. It costs no energy. You just have to make sure you pay attention and don't get killed. Which is like, cool, awesome, like, that's fine. And then you're just invulnerable, so OP. Your third ability is fucking awesome, right? Like, it's insane. It is an AoE damage multiplier that starts at 2x. And then if you feel like just charging up even more strength, yeah, it's insane. So you have a really good radius CC, and when you teleport to your moats, it doubles the range. So mine's at 26. Sweet, it hits 52 when I hit TP to a moat, right? Oh my god, like, it's awesome. And then your fourth ability is your worst ability, but it's cool. So if you're gonna helmet something on Wisp, it should probably be the fourth ability, because it's just a radiation fire beam. I know a lot of people don't like radiation because it just like makes enemies run around and act confused, but like, holy hell. And her augments, I just use Fused Reservoir because I'm lazy, and that's it. Like, easy. And you can definitely use Critical Surge and you'll gain a fuck ton of damage. Like, look at that, maximum 250. Like, no matter what, you can do so much. So Wisp is godly. I love Wisp. She's instant S tier without even thinking about it. You could use Wisp with no mods and she's S tier. Like, she's just too good. Oh my god, 4 more Warframes. Okay, oh, dang. 4 more Warframes. Holy. Is that an ice cap? Yes, yes it was. So that's Wisp, everybody. I love Wisp. Gosh, she's so good. Oh no, 5 more Warframes. No, Sevagoth Prime. Sevagoth doesn't count. 4 more Warframes. Now we have Wukong. Oh, Wukong has gotten progressively worse and worse over time. The issue with Wukong is his AI right now is stupid. His biggest issue. So I play Wukong so much, or used to, that Warframe players, he is the most popular Warframe, especially in Warframe China. And he was just so overused because he had a built-in clone. His clone just tends to freeze and stop working now. And then you have to like respawn. Warframe made the AI clone, I swear to God, they're trolling everybody. They made the clone stupider. In the past year or two, they've done an update or two, and now the clone sucks. It starts freezing, it loses its AI, it's like a worse on-call crew, and then you have to kind of recall Celestial Twin. So they kind of messed with him because he was so overused. And then he has 3 passive extra lives, by the way. Cloudwalker's good to heal and just kind of get out of a bad situation, but it's not like super amazing at all. His third ability, Defy, is pretty cool because it gives you like damage multiplier and time invulnerable and armor and all that. The issue is like, who cares? It's not an active invulnerability, it's a small term one, so it's good to not die, but you also just have Cloudwalk, so I don't know. I don't really love Defy. It's good enough, but I don't love it. I don't love it at all. And then his Primal Fury, which is just an augmented bow staff. If you like using it, you like using it. If not, if not. I'm legitimately putting Wukong in B tier because he's just like overused and people just love him for his clone. You can always do your Slime Kong build, who cares? He's a good frame. But I just like, his overall kit, I don't like anymore. It's just kind of the boring AI clone kit, and it's just so overused. But yeah, he's still pretty good. He's still pretty good. He could be A tier for a lot of people. He could be anything, really. He has a lot of augments too by now. Like Primal Rage is nice because crit. Celestial Stomp, hell yeah. Just Celestial Stomp everything, right? Got Enveloping Cloud. Nah, I don't care about that. But I'll put him as B tier. He doesn't stand out to me anymore. Not even close in the past like 2 years. He was only really A or S tier mainly because of his clone, and his clone's just gotten worse and worse over the years. It just stops working. So, oh well. It is what it is. Wukong is still a very good frame. Usably very nice. Next up is Zaku. We're getting Zaku Prime shortly, so better statted Zaku. I think Zaku, a lot of people either really love or hate Zaku. I don't know why. I like him. I think Zaku's really good. Either A or S tier. Void damage is really strong, so you just straight up get a void damage buff. But the extra damage is low, so yeah, keep that in mind. You also have damage reduction on AoE attacks, chance to avoid incoming weapons. Cool. Grasp of Loke is awesome. It essentially steals guns from enemies. It uses them and they shoot void damage. Awesome. Awesome. I could definitely build your boy with more damage strength overall, but hey. Next up, we have the third ability, which is Accuse, Gaze, Deny. Meh. It's not bad. It's like, I think Gaze is the best because of the just damage reduction, but it can also work as decent enough CC. So, yeah. And then the best part about Zaku is their fourth ability, right? It freezes the cooldowns on your second, third, and first ability. Sweet. Awesome. Love it. Sweet. Okay. It just pauses the cooldowns. You have a 75% dodge chance. You just have to make sure that you have some sort of shield gate and you keep up on that because, you know, you can also just die. So, yeah. Zaku's awesome. I would say Zaku's A tier. I wouldn't put Zaku quite at S tier, but I really like Zaku overall. Because like void damage, void guns, auto turrets, the Lost with the DR, defense reductions, just so good. So good. But, you know, could be a little better. Could be a little better. Either way, well, yeah, A tier? A tier. That's where I'll throw Zaku. I think a lot of people would like, he's like A to S to a lot of people if they like him a lot. Zaku's great. He's more of a fun frame because you actually like play around with him versus invisibility frames or like Octavia. But Zaku's a pretty hype frame. Next up is Yareli. Oh my god, Yareli. Oh my god. Okay, everybody. What do you think about Yareli here? What do you think about Yareli? We're going with a low tier frame. She's better now, but she's not A tier. So, you have C snares, which is damage, vulnerability, and general CC, which is nice. Which is nice. Damage vulnerability on stat on this is actually really high, so that's really good. The issue is then you have to spam out a shit ton of C snares when you can just kill enemies. So it's like the crit chance on secondary, if you really like secondary, good, awesome. Marolina is the worst part about her. It's 90% damage reduction, but you have to respawn the K drive, and you also have to be on a K drive. And that's why to fix her, they gave her a forced augment mod so that you no longer have to ride on your K drive. That makes her worse because then you actually have to fucking use it. So yeah, Marolina Guardian, okay. Not bad because you gain secondary fire rate. So if you like secondaries or if you like K drive, she's really good. That's kind of what you have to build her on. But Surging Blades is good, okay? I just like Surging Blades. I think her third ability, Aqua Blades, is her best ability because it's high tier, a bunch of slash damage if you want to just run around and get close to enemies. I just don't like her kit. I don't think it meshes that well together. I just don't. I don't like the idea of her base kit, which is like roll around on K drive, hitting enemies, throwing abilities, using secondaries. Riptide's really awesome though. I really love Riptide. I really like Riptide. Like that's the issue with her third ability. It's really good if you're going close to enemies, and it's useless if you're not. So if you're going melee form, it's great. If you're doing ranged attacks, it's useless. That's the issue with her. She's very situationally shitty. Very situationally shitty. Riptide's probably just her best outright ability, to be honest, because of how much damage it can add up. It has decent range, but not amazing. But if you want to just clear through a bunch of ads, it's really nice because it damage increases for more enemies in there. Get them in there, explode, boom, you kill a bunch of them. Falls off more late game, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. I don't like the idea that Warframe always adds augments to fix how annoying a Warframe's Warframe's kit can be. So she is a good frame, but God, you really have to like using secondaries, so she's very situational. You have to like using secondaries, and or you have to like using K drive as well. If not, you just lose so much of her buffs. So I think she's really good. She's B tier for me. She's probably A tier for a lot of people that like K-Drive or like using secondaries and like her kit more. But I don't. I just don't. I think she's a B tier Warframe for me. And, you know, it is what it is. And last but not least, we have Flying Zephyr. Yeah, that's the last frame. We have Zephyr. So Zephyr is kind of in the same boat, but Zephyr's overall kit's actually really good, surprisingly. For how little people play Zephyr, Zephyr's kit's fucking awesome. So your first ability, the best part about it is that you just stay in the air floating. The good part about it's not the dive bomb, it's the fact that you just float. So that means you can throw on shit like aerodynamics, right? You just float in the air. But along with that, you throw on your third ability, which redirects all incoming projectiles. So you have a pseudo invincibility, which is just redonkulous, right? It's like, wait, what? You straight up just have a pseudo invincibility. I love Zephyr. As much as people might not like Zephyr, I think Zephyr's insane, even though I haven't played a ton of Zephyr anymore, you know? We may never know. So, your second ability is a sadly lower radius CC, and it has damage growth per enemy hit, but the damage isn't high on that, so it's not really the main focus, IMO. Also, Zephyr moves faster, falling slower. Gain 150% critical hit chance with weapons while airborne. His passive's actually amazing. Her passive? Zephyr a guy? I always think Zephyr's a guy, but I think Zephyr's a girl in Warframe. I don't know why, but Zephyr as a name is a guy's name. Yeah, but I think Zephyr's a girl. I can't remember. So, fucking love Zephyr. I just sit in the air with Tailwind. I always throw on Turbulence. And then your fourth ability is either tornadoes that move around. You shoot the tornadoes and they do a ton of damage to the enemies. Or you can keep them stationary and you shoot the tornadoes and it does a ton of damage to the enemies. Because it damages everyone in the tornado. Zephyr is amazing. And I'm throwing Zephyr on S tier. Just because of how stupid the kit is. Oh, Zephyr is a girl? Okay. Like, you have to think about it. Zephyr stays in the air, has pseudo invincibility, has so much damage and shared damage with tornadoes, has CC to get people into the tornadoes. So you have everything. You have huge crit and damage boosts off your abilities as well. So it's like, he has the complete kit, but he doesn't have like AoE nuking, but you don't need it because your tornadoes are kind of the AoE nuke. You just shoot them and it nukes everyone. So yeah, like, he's really cool. Oh, I just put Lavos in here because I hate Lavos. That's it. I just hate having to toggle on all of the statuses, and I find it a very monotonous, boring, unfun, anti-fun mechanic. And Lavos just does damage, and I can use any other Warframe for damage. So Lavos has zero niche that he fills for me and is absolutely dog shit for me. Worthless Warframe. I played around a ton of Lavos when Lavos first came out, and I will never play Lavos again. Why is Frost B? Because Icy Avalanche. That's legitimately it. Off the kilter, he's C, but then once you start getting his augments, he's a lot better. Either way, Zephyr's really amazing, but obviously you need to like the playstyle of staying in the air, casting abilities like that. So, yep. This is what I would say is my current Warframe tier list. And a daily reminder, tier lists don't matter. They're for fun. Use whatever you feel like using. Like, yeah. Every single one of these, I explained why I would put it in there. A lot of them, they go down to like, I don't like how their general abilities and kits work compared to other Warframes that do the same idea, right? But this is my general OP. I misgender a lot of Warframes. Luckily, they're Warframes and this is a video game, so it doesn't matter. So yeah. Zephyr is a guy, Zephyr is a girl, Zephyr is a Zephyr. That's what I currently say is my tier list. A lot of it's based on just like how I like using the abilities compared to other Warframes and if they fill the niche of that Warframe better or worse, right? That's how I usually view a lot of these. Always use whatever the fuck Warframe you feel like and you enjoy. If you don't do that, then you're just dumb because like, why are you playing a game if you're not enjoying it, right? But yeah, tier list is always it's for a fun time. This is where I'd rank stuff based on like what I like playing and how their abilities work. And you have to also remember, there's 57 Warframes in the game. You need to probably put a solid 5 hours into a Warframe at least to get like a good understanding with augments and how you fully like a Warframe. And just nobody has time for that shit, especially when the Warframes keep getting updated, reworked. Warframe is a content bloat game. It is a looter shooter. There's so much stuff that you can get, but there's nothing you need to get. So, yeah. That is your boy, Zephyr, and the tier list. So, let me know what you think. Hate it as much as you want. Get wrecked, Lavos. Fucking nerd. Sub, like, use Epic Games, creator code Pupsker, all that. And, yeah, make a tier list and judge it as you will. Cheers.